Make sure the audio works fine, and I think fucking there we go. The audio works fine, and I think fucking there we go. The audio okay. Audio works lit. Pog. Okay. Before we do get into it, just realized my phone is dying. How dare. Your dying phone? How dare you? But anyway. Fucking Prism Live has some of the most confusing ass fucking like I don't know if heads up display is the correct thing to say or whatever. I guess UI would be more accurate. Because like it's got all the information that you have. Like, you know how if you go live on the OBS, for example, and it provides you with like information, it's just like, oh, here's your frames, drop frames, all that shit. Well, it's got all that and more. Still don't understand what the fuck half of it means. I really don't know what half of it means. And some of it's just kind of so small, it's like really hard to see what goes to what. I don't know if there's a way I can make that bigger at all. Because like there's some information that it's showing that I would love to see more of. But it is actively choosing for me not to see it. So I don't know. I don't know. But that doesn't really fucking matter, honestly. It's not a big deal. It's not the end of the world. So, who cares? So anyways, we're going to continue reading more Higurashi. The last where we left off, Shion kind of fucked up, beat the shit out of Satoko. And now Satoshi and Shion, they're both kind of... Well, technically it's Satoshi and Mion, because Shion was going in as Mion, but that's besides the point. The point is those two are kind of on terms, like, not terrible terms, but by all means not the greatest. So that's always fun to deal with. That's always fun. You get used to that kind of thing when you're someone like me, but when you're someone like Shion, you're probably not used to it. So that's, that kind of... Well, that'll kind of sting, That'll kind of suck. But, I mean... Yeah... I don't know. But, anyways, I'll stop fucking around. Let's go. Load chapter 5. And let's continue. Let's continue the hellscape that we will go into. The day of the Nagashi festival. It sure is. I think it's spacebar that I press. I don't know. Nope, I hid the UI. Wait, what button is it to... June 20th, 1982, at 1:40 p.m. specifically. Remember that. What was I doing today? Nothing in particular. Nothing at all. I just wanted to play hooky. I woke up in the afternoon. I ate instant food for lunch while watching boring TV programs. What kind of boring TV programs were you watching anyway? I was gonna make a joke, but I didn't grow up watching too many shows aside from stuff like SpongeBob and shit, so I can't really make a joke on that. I didn't watch Cartoon Network. I had a light headache, so I lay down on the sofa. I wouldn't wake up again if I went to sleep. Whatever. I decided to sleep. I already told Sis that Satoshi-kun had asked her to look after Satoko. I didn't have to do anything myself. I fell asleep, though my head was aching a little bit. That would be all I'd have to deal with. Okay. The aunt believed that all the villagers frowned upon her because her brother-in-law and his wife were pro-damn activists. I don't know if that's the only reason, but good guess. She surely experienced some fallout during the time of the dispute. But people had stopped looking coldly upon her, even though she assumed otherwise. She was paranoid, believing that all the villagers hated her. And so, she decided to hate them back. Her attitude, of course, begot hatred from the villagers. Is that how you say that? Begot? I don't know. I can't read, so I wouldn't fucking know. And the situation became exactly the way she thought it was from the start. So it's your fault, bitch. What came first, their poor relationships with the neighbors, or her husband's affair? I don't know. It's a good question. She didn't even know herself. Her husband claimed that he got a lover because he was fed up with her attitude. She, in turn, claimed that their relationships with the neighbors went sour because her husband had damaged their reputation. Yeah, that bitch delusional. Only Satoshi was aware of that both happened almost around the same time. Their quarrels had become a daily routine now. When the husband came home late, the wife would shout at him at the entrance. Satoshi wondered why they didn't get some form of a divorce. Their marriage has been rotten as being as rotten as it was. But he secretly knew the reason for that too. I could only fucking guess. It was the fortune his parents left. Oh, actually, when you put it like that, yeah, that makes sense. His aunt had hidden their bank book. I was gonna say handbook because that's what I commonly hear. Bank book. What the fuck's a bank book? Am I just too young that I don't know what a fucking bank book is? Never mind. Anyways, had hidden their. Sorry, I'm baffled by fucking bank book, man. I don't know what you want from me. Bank book and stamp, and never allowed her husband to access them. So her husband would search the house for them. She'd find out that he had stole some money from her purse. This, of course, would cause a fight. Satoshi had never been aware that his parents had that much money when they were alive. After their death, however, one of his relatives told him. He was informed that his parents had left a large sum of money in some bank account. Satoshi couldn't understand why they had that kind of money, because his family had been, as far as he knew at least, poor. It was because of the dam project. His parents probably got the money in return for their cooperation with the government. That would make sense. They had strived to get more villagers on their side, provided information to them and whatnot. The money was probably compensation for their efforts. His aunt and uncle never had any intention to adopt them until they had heard about the money. After someone from some financial institution revealed its existence, they appeared to adopt Satoko and Satoshi. The couple would fight every day. Eventually, Satoshi's uncle started spending more time at his mistress's home. He realized that he had no reason to return to his home, because he'd just end up with a fight with his wife if he did. When he stopped coming home, Satoshi felt relieved. I would too. I mean, it's not like I read the previous chapters and know why the uncle's a dickhead. Neither their uncle nor aunt treated the two siblings well at all. Satoshi's aunt wouldn't have to vent her frustration upon them. The reason the couple fought was their corrupted relationship. So if they were separated, there wouldn't be any more fights. Satoshi had that thought, at least at first. But even after they separated, his aunt still had a short temper. Another woman had stolen her husband. The villagers must have been talking behind her back. It was mortifyingly embarrassing. Since she lost an opponent to fight, Satoshi's aunt directed her hatred towards the siblings. Satoshi had been observing her. He learned when she would get upset how to avoid her attention. He managed to get by without upsetting her by turning a keen eye to her behavior and avoiding conflicts. But Satsuko couldn't do that. She hated her aunt and didn't even try to hide it. Satoshi told her to behave in her aunt's presence, but her eyes were always filled with hatred. Satoshi strived to reduce the conflict between them as much as possible. He stepped in to mend their relationship. Yep, and how did that go? It was a heavy burden for him, though, because he was still just a boy. He bore so much, covered for his little sister by lying and maneuvering. He tried to maintain a tangible sense of peace, but he couldn't do that forever. Yeah, no shit. The relationship between Satsuko and her aunt had already spiraled out of control. Satoshi found something in the trash. Oh, I haven't seen this background render in a bit. It probably wasn't a legitimate place for trash disposal. Yeah, trust me. Rena and I found some weird shit here. If it was, sanitation workers would come to pick it up. He passed by this street all the time, and he noticed that there were a few new things dumped here. He found a plain old looking desk that of the kind to see in an office. And holy shit, what happened to my speak there for a second? Somebody probably must have dumped it within the past few days. His aunt liked to bring unusable trash home. She had Satoshi help bring the chests home just a few days ago. What the fuck? If he told her about the desk, she'd want it. Her aunt hated to find bugs and garbage in the drawers. So she'd always open them to check if before carrying things home. Satoshi opened all the drawers, all of which that were empty. After that, he turned around and walked for about 5 steps. He was standing in a knee-high bush. There he laid something he had been carrying all the time, until today. It'd be very hard to find unless you specifically knew where it was to begin with. Or what it was to begin with. I don't fucking... Looking satisfied, Satoshi looked around for some landmark to remember the place by. Oh no. If this is where I think it's going...
Hey, 親父! 今年も来たね。また根こそぎかっさらってくから覚悟しときなよ。
I've never thought I'd feel so happy to see Mion.
いやその先のお嬢ちゃんは今年も元気がいいな。あ、そっちの子は新顔かい？
この子はね、竜宮レナ。こう見えてても結構やるよ。
そんなことないよ。よろしくお願いしますね。
おう、こっちこそよろしくな。今年もいろいろ景品を持ってきたんだぜ。もちろん真剣勝負だ。根こそぎ持ってけるもんなら持ってけってんだ。
レナは可愛いものには目がないのですよ。
Yeah, that includes you, Rika.
あのぬいぐるみとそっちのぬいぐるみはレナの好みだね。
And there she goes. If this music wasn't playing in the background, I'd say this is super wholesome. But I'd also say that if I didn't already read 4 other chapters before this, so...
かわいいね。ほも持ち帰り。
You want to take a lot of things home, and that's kind of scary.
ダメだよ。まだ準備中だよ。おい。
レナ、ダメダメ。まだ準備中だってさ。ちゃんと回転したら根こそぎさらってやりな。
はう、もうダメだよ。レナのものなんだよ。
Okay, I can't help but smile at this. It's just cute.
お持ち帰り。
I'm taking it home. Rena lost her marbles over the stuffed animal and everyone laughed. Everyone except Satoko. She was standing by herself, some distance from the crowd. Hey, Oni, it's time to cry. We'll see. It depends on what the story does to us, honestly. It really heavily depends on what the story will do. But as you can see, if someone does cry, I think we have our first suspect of that. You know, I haven't seen this render in a while, like the background render, but now that I'm looking back, is this right here supposed to be a Gundam? Tell me that's not a Gundam right there. That looks like it's the fucking Gundam. Like, it looks like one of the entry grade. I would know. I built the entry grade in the past. I know what that is. What the fuck? How did I not notice that? I mean, Gundam. Hey, Gundams are cool as hell. I bought 3 Gundams, and I didn't build but 2 of them, which is still a positive, but the other one still sits on my shelf, not built. It's just there. I lost like 2 or 3 pieces of it, so I technically can't build it. Anyway. Her eyes looked dull.
なんなんですの、リカ。
Rika walked up to Satoko, smiling ear to ear with an effort to cheer her up.
今日は何も考えなくていいのですよ。いっぱい楽しく過ごしましょうなのです。
You'll get around to it when you get around to it. I would love to. Like I said, if I had those pieces, I probably would. It's a super cool one. I might post something about it. Just be like, hey, do you guys remember when I bought this Gundam and then proceeded to not build it properly? Ever since then, that was the last Gundam I built. Or at least tried to build. Satoko looked down. Even if she got to have fun today, her circumstances at home wouldn't change.
さとこ、意地悪なおばさんは、今日はお祭りには来ませんですよ。そんなことは分かってますわ。なら、いっぱい笑って、いっぱい楽しくなるのですよ。みぱー。
Oh, Rika. She's trying her best.
みぱー。みぱー。あいにくですけど、そういう気分になれませんの。申し訳ございませんけど、放っておいてくださいませ。
Oh, boy.
どうして、さとこは笑いませんですか？
Satoko sulkingly glimpsed at Rika. She gave her a look, as though she wanted to say to Rika that she should know the reason. Even if she could have fun today, nothing would change between her and her evil aunt. No matter how fun the festival may have been, once she was home, her aunt would be there. The aunt would find something wrong with Satoko and get mad, and shout at her so loudly that the neighbors would even hear. How can she have fun, even just for today, while knowing all of that? Satoko didn't say that out loud, but her eyes betrayed her emotions to Rika.
ではさとこ、さとこの辛いのが今日でおしまいになるなら、さとこは笑ってくれますですか？
Satoko gasped. She thought that Rika might be able to do something to help. But soon after, she realized that Rika was just trying to comfort her. Could her suffering end today? If Satoshi goes through what I think he's going through, then yes, very much so. Because of Rika? Well, no. How? I don't know. Satsuko knew that there was really nothing that Rika could do. And so, After just one moment of freedom, Satoko fell into depression again.
リカ、くだらない気休めは聞きたくないですわ。サトコ。
Rika's voice was clearer than Satoko had ever heard before.
もう決まっていることなのです。
Thanks, Rika. Thanks, Rika. Uh-oh. That's pretty late, isn't it? Satoshi snuck out the window after supper. He heard a distant ruckus of the festival. The festival would end at 9 p.m. After the Watanagashi ceremony, there was going to be a raffle drawing. So there would be two types of people in Hinamizawa. People who would go home for dinner, and the ones who would stay until the raffle was over. After relaxing at home, or still at the festival, time for some mischief. We're about to kill the aunt! There were only 2 patterns. On top of that, there weren't many neighbors in the vicinity of Satoshi's house. As a result, he found nobody on the streets, and on that night, the small village seemed especially desolate. Satoshi knew it was going to be like this. But he would keep worrying until he saw it for himself. He was barefooted, but started running without hesitation. He felt as though he was become a wild animal, running on his bare feet. He got the impression that he could run faster than usual. Not only his running ability, his vision, his hearing, his sense of smell, all of his senses were keener, including his sixth sense. He could almost sense the presence of people in the distance. If only when crouching like an animal. It felt strange, as though he had stepped into another world. He had been feeling tense and anxious until today, battling with his own fear. But now, he felt that though he had metamorphosized into a different person. Okay, well, I thought can we nah with the animal shit? This is turning into 2023's generation. That's what it is. And before you say 2024, yeah, I keep forgetting we're in 2024. This shit fucking sucks. Alright, some more time has passed.
それでは
Hi!
お楽しみ抽選会の説明をこれより始めますのでどうぞ皆さん櫓の周りにお集まりくださいな
The festival had reached its climax. The raffle was going to start. Poggers! What is the raffle for? I don't remember if this was mentioned in any of the previous chapters or not. Both the women who were dancing and those who were waiting for the raffle gathered around the altar. This was the first time they had held a raffle. Oh, then, well, I mean, they're going to explain it to me anyway, so let's see how it goes. The planning committee decided to hold one from this year onward to attract more people into the festival. At first, the prizes were things such as things the committee members had donated. But Oryu, I forgot how to say her fucking name. Not appreciating how pathetic they looked, had thrown them away. Oryu, you old bitch. Fuck you, Oryu, you hoe. Oryu took the initiative and brought a brand new TV, a washing machine, cooling fan, and much other things for the raffle. I mean, those are some pretty useful stuff, all things considered. I wouldn't say those were necessarily even bad. The committee wanted to keep it small initially, but it turned out big thanks to her. Okay, well. Oryu was upset because the committee members weren't enthusiastic enough, in her opinion at least. Some of the members thought it would be pretty difficult to prepare prizes of equal value the following year, so this might be the very first and last raffle. Leave it to Oryu to fuck shit up. I swear, bro. Leave it to Oryu to fuck shit up.
お嬢さんのおかげで ほんとな素晴らしい商品になったね。
Ew! Ew, look at her! Ew, what is that?
だいぶかかったんじゃないの？運営費で立て替えするよ。
すったらうな程度で建て替えなんてアホらしい。
Ooh! Ugh! Oh, look at that fucking ugly fucking parasite that came straight out of Alien Isolation. Look at that fucking thing. Look at that fucking disgusting little bitch. Fucking looking like glitched polygon textures going all over the place in a fucking Dreamcast title, you fucking gross ass motherfuck. Don't say that in front of her, she's gonna curse you too. Hey man, Oyashiro ain't gonna get shit on me. I'm good. I'm safe. I ain't got no worries on that. Yo, God, look at her though. Ugh, God, fuck, that's fucking gross.
銭金の問題じゃないね。
You could have fooled me.
たく。
まあまあそう言わないで。お嬢さんのおかげでできた抽選会なんだから。
こんな私一人でどうにかすりゃええんちゅうわけとちゃいねや。
Cuts to later dead. It's not even just me dead, it's just one of the counterparts. I get one of my old VTuber models, just have them dead on the ground, just like, I think they got the wrong one. That would be funny as shit. Just an inside joke meme for that. Posted on Blue Sky or some shit, yeah.
パホクサ。
The mayor, Kimiyoshi, was having a tough time pacifying Oryu. I don't think anyone can pacify this old bitch. All of a sudden, one of the committee members burst into the tent in a rush. He looked upset, so Kimiyoshi assumed that somebody probably got hurt in an accident.
どうしたの牧野さん。そんなに息を弾ませたら心臓が破れちゃうよ。
Kimiyoshi made a joke to try to calm him down. Makino, however, still looked tense. He whispered something to Kimiyoshi. Without even hearing the exchange between Makino and Kimiyoshi, it was plain as day what the bad news was. Yep, let me guess.
お嬢さん、悪い話なんだけどいいかい？
Kimiyoshi, accompanied by Makino, moved to Oryu's side and spoke in a very serious tone. Kimiyoshi whispered the exact same words Makino told him.
いやはや、参ったよな。
参るも参らんもなんね。3度あっちゃんは4度あるっちゅうこっちゃな。
お嬢さん、そりゃ笑えないや。
I'm pretty sure you were the only one who laughed, my boy.
面白い話でもなんでもなぎゃ。面倒が増えただけっちゃね。
警察が今身元を調べてるらしい。どうも相当顔面をやられてるらしくて、身元の特定が難しそうなんだと。
顔がわからんでもおおよその想像はつくっちゃな。
え？心当たりがあるのかい？
Oryu glared at Kimiyoshi, then started chuckling.
バーカが綿流しの祭りにも顔を見せん。不信心者に決まっとるわ。
Oh, you wish. Oh, you fucking wish.
ちゃんとお社様を敬って祭りに来ちょるんは。そんな目には合わなんとよ。
Oryu kept laughing. Kimiyoshi and Makino didn't know how to react to that. I don't know how I would react to that either. Alright.
しかし
Well, look who it is.
こりゃ無残なもんっすね。
クマちゃん、死に方ってのは本人が望んだものでない限りどんなでも無残なもんです。お悔やみ申し上げちゃいますよ。そっちどう？ポッケの中身とか個人が特定できそうなものは？
The The forensic investigators shook their heads.
サンダル履きで服装もラフ。近くにお住まいの方でしょうね。服装の特徴から周辺に聞き込みをすればすぐに割れそうっすね。
それしかないな。課長からこの山一区捜査してかかりそうだからって脅されてます。その辺注意してくださいよ。
了解っす。
Kumagai gathered some officers and gave them directions.
入江先生が到着しました。
Oh shit.
先生、あそこです。
Young doctor got out of his car and headed towards the victim's direction. Hey, coach.
どうも。遅れて申し訳ありません。抽選会の手伝いの最中だったもので。
先生、今日の祭りでだいぶ飲んでたでしょう。アルコール本当に抜けてます？後で風船でも膨らましてもらっちゃおうかな。
ご安心を。運転はスタッフに代わってもらってますので。
Okay, bud.
そりゃそつがない。おい、先生通してあげて。
There was an area. That's a word, anyways. There's some sheets of plastic blue. An officer rolled up the sheet and let Oishi and Irie pass. The forensic people were taking photos from many different angles. The blood splatters and the bloody sandals were left untouched, marked with chalk and indicated a small alphabet. I can't fucking read.
こういうものは見慣れませんね。
Irie took out a handkerchief and covered his
匂
nose.
いがダメな時は口呼吸にするんですよ。まあこういう匂いは目でも嗅げちゃうかな。ね。
The body appeared to be a middle-aged woman, and it was soaked in blood. Gee, I wonder who this middle-aged woman is. It looked like a middle-aged woman because of the hair and what she was wearing. The reason why no one could be certain was because the face was completely pulverized.
ひどい。
十中八九怨恨の線でしょうな。血痕とサンダル裏から見てここで殺したのは間違いないでしょう。でも見ての通りここは人通りが少ないと言ったって往来のど真ん中です。ここで頭部がひしゃげるまで殴り続けたってのはちょいとまともな話じゃないですからね。でね、ほら腕とか見てみてください。
Oishi put on latex gloves and lifted the corpse's arm. Looks like she's not cursing anyone. Oryu's still alive. This is Satoshi's aunt, if I were to take a guess. I hope they don't pull a chapter 3 and make it to where it's like, oh, you killed Satoshi's aunt? Well, guess what? She's still alive, because fuck you, that's why. Because it happened with Satoko's uncle, so, which is technically still Satoshi's uncle. But it happened once before, so it's gonna happen again.
ん？腕は綺麗なもんでしょう。
それはつまり腕で防いだとか抵抗したとかそういう痕跡がないという意味ですね。
さすが高学歴。仏さんはおそらく最初の一撃で脳震盪かなんかで気絶したんじゃないかと思うんです。で、星は確実に殺した手応えを得るためにさらに打撃を加えた。さらに言えば仏さんはその時うつ伏せに倒れたように思うんですよね。
Well.
ねえ、服の汚れ具合からの勘ですが。
遺体は仰向けですね。
星は後頭部を散々潰して明らかに頭蓋骨が砕けてる手応えを得ているにもかかわらずわざわざ顔面を潰してるんじゃないかと思うんですよ。
Irie looked like he was going to throw up. both because of the putrid smell and Oishi's reasoning.
遺体の顔面を殴るってのは私の経験じゃかなり怨恨の線が強いです。それもだいぶ濃厚な濃ってことはつまり星は仏のかなり近辺にいるのは間違いないかと。
Close in what sense? Let's be fucking honest right now for 2 seconds.
私を呼んだのが救命活動ではないということはよくわかりました。
先生、この人が誰かわかりますかね。わかれば聞き込みの手間がだいぶ省けるんですがね。
Irie looked at the body once again. He looked away quickly and thought. Then after a while, Irie left the investigation area without saying anything.
すみません。私にはわかりかねます。
本当に
Oishi smirked and looked into Irie's eyes. It was as though Irie was hiding something. Yeah, it's probably possible that he already knows.
別に隠してなんかいません。
先生もアルコールがまだ抜けきってないだけですよ。頭が冴えたら思い出すかもしれません。思い出したら教えてくださいね。
Oishi tapped Irie on the back. Can't trust nobody. Can't trust nobody, Higurashi. The doctor, saying he wanted some fresh air, left the scene. Kumagai returned.
おいさん、課長から無線です。1号車の無線っす。
入江の先生、ごまかしたな。いえ、こっちの話。仏の聞き込み急いでください。ほぼ間違いなくこの近くにお住まいです。
Alright, couple more minutes.
おいさん、連れてきました。
どうもどうも。こんな夜更けに申し訳ありませんね。
Did they find Satoshi?
明日も学校なのに本当に申し訳ないです。
いえ。
お父さんはどちらへ？
うちの寄付はあまり帰ってきませんので。
おお、いつ頃から？最後に帰ってきたのはいつ？
さあ、義母と喧嘩しているのを聞く限りは。最後に会ったのはあまり覚えてないんですけど、先々週ぐらいだったかもしれません。
お父さんの連絡先はわかります？
いえ。
キャバレーの人と同居してるって言いましたよね。
Yeah, because he's a bastard.
なんてお店かわかります？
いえ、沖宮のどこかにあるとしか知りません。
お父さんの名前は？
北条哲平です。
Oishi signaled Kumagai with his chin, who nodded while taking notes.
お父さんとお母さんはあまり仲良くなかったですか？
程度の度合いはわかりませんが、よくはなかったと思います。
率直に聞いて申し訳ないですけど、お母さんに恨みを持っていた人間とか知っていたら教えてほしいんですがね。
Ooh, say something fucked up. Say something fucked up. Say something fucked up. Say something fucked up. Say something fucked up.
よくわからないです。
No, don't lie. Say something fucked up. Be funny. Come on.
そうですか。じゃあもしも思い出したらでいいので、その時は教えてくださいね。これ私の名刺です。ここに電話番号ありますので。
はい。
じゃあ後日またいろいろとお話を伺うこともあるかもしれません。もしもお父さんと連絡がつきましたら 沖宮警察署の大石まで至急ご連絡をとお伝えください。くまちゃん、北条さんを自宅まで送ってあげてください。
いえ、一人で帰れますから。
いえいえ、そんなこと言わずにぜひ送らせてくださいな。お母さんを襲った犯人がまだ近くにいる可能性があるんですよ。あなたもまた狙われない保証なんてないんですからね。
お気遣いありがとうございます。でも本当に結構ですね。
Satoshi, you're acting really suspicious, and I don't think you realize that. Satoshi tried to reject the offer, but Oishi and Kumagai insisted. In the end, Satoshi was forced to accept. He turned around to leave, when Oishi spoke to him as if he remembered something he had forgotten to say.
北条さん。
はい。
大丈夫ですよ。心配しないでください。犯人はすぐに捕まりますよ。
I don't...
手がかりとかあるんですか？
ありますよ。
どんなですか？
Wait.
捜査上の秘密ですよ。
Ordinary people might think that Oishi was trying to cheer the poor kid up with a
い
joke,
えね。
but I know Oishi.
人を殺すってのはかなり感情の高ぶるもんなんですよ。そりゃ冷静に殺してみせるロボットみたいなのも稀にいますがね。
感情が高ぶると。
Why did they... It's always like they still... I love it.
人は極限まで感情が高ぶるといろいろ体に反応が出ます。発汗とか脱毛とかね。殺人現場に犯人の毛髪が落ちているってことは割とあることなんですよ。まあここは屋外ですからね。現場が絨毯の上ってのとはだいぶ勝手が違いますが。
犯人の毛髪は拾えたんですか？
さあね。鑑識の連中が大列組んでさっきから行ったり来たりしていろいろ探してます。まだ結果待ちでね。何が出るやら今
明日があるので今夜はもう帰ります。
そうなさってください。クマちゃん送ってあげてください。
了解っす。
では北条さん、また近いうちに進展があったらお知らせしますよ。北条さんも何か思い出したりしたらぜひ教えてくださいね。憎き母の仇の逮捕に協力してまいりましょう。
Wow. Okay, so that's how we're starting this, huh? Okay. Alright, yeah, sure. Okay. I mean, you can go fuck yourself, but sure. Sis called the morning after the Watnagashi festival to tell me that the curse had struck again for the 4th time. The victim was the evil aunt who was harassing, I'm so sorry, I don't know what came over me right there. That was harassing Satoshi-kun and Satoko. Satoshi-kun's suffering should be over now, since the problem was with Satoko and the aunt's relationship to begin with. Maybe I should have celebrated, but I wasn't in the mood for some reason.
犯人ってもう警察は目星をつけてるのかな？
Sis went quiet when I asked that.
さあね。大石の野郎がしつこく聞き込みをして回ってるみたい。犯人は近しい人間に違いないと思ってるようだね。
Being identical twins, Sis and I think very much alike. If I suspected Satoshi-kun of being a murderer, so would she. Because of this, I didn't have any mention, or I didn't have to mention the obvious.
サトシ君って祭りの日にアリバイあります？
どうだろう。
I heaved a huge sigh.
バカですね。サトシ君は祭りに来ていた。そういうことでいいじゃないですか。
そうだよね。気が利かなくてごめん。
I see what you guys are doing. I see what you two are doing. I heaved another sigh. Sis was stupid enough to forget to make an alibi for him, even though the murder of his aunt alone would raise enough suspicion.
じゃあ、やっぱり、サトシが？
サトシ君が殺したかどうかが問題じゃないでしょ。サトシ君が犯行の時間帯にアリバイがあったかが重要なんです。たく。
後で警察がうちに来るみたいだから、来たらサトシは祭りで一緒だったって言うよ。
お姉、取ってつけた嘘なんか何の役にも立たないです。何も手を打たなかったなら、今さら小細工しても無駄ってことです。
This is a high-level conversation. Welcome to Higurashi.
せいぜい正直に喋ってください。お姉は芝居が下手なんだから、変に意識するとかえって勘ぐられますからね。
ごめん。
She sounded depressed. I was the one who should have been depressed. Mion usually handled things well, but she's not too good with emergencies. I was left worried for the future of the Sonozaki family. Mion must have been embarrassed. She soon changed the subject.
シオン、最近はあまりバイトに行けてなかったでしょ。
ご検察痛み入ります。おかげさまで。
ごめん。今日は私、夜まで姿を隠してるから、バイトに出られるんじゃない？
Where am I working? Where are you taking me, you crazy bitch? Oh, fucking hell. Sis has been appearing in public places during festival preparations and whatnot. As a result, I hadn't been able to pretend to be her. I hadn't been able to work. As someone who had to support myself, it was a bit of a pain. To be honest, I didn't really feel like working. But I couldn't afford to be sitting around either. I need to hydrate, what the fuck? Yeah, before, in case you heard that sound, I promise it's not soda, it's sparkling water. It's either that or bland-ass water that makes me want to fucking choke on volcanic magma. Anyway. When I looked at my apartment door before leaving, the door of the next apartment, what the fucking apartment over in Kasai appeared.
シオンさん、お出かけですか？
そんなとこです。お姉が姿を隠してくれるそうなんで、久々にバイトに出ます。葛西、暇だったらおじさんの店まで車を出してもらってもいい？
シオンさん、しばらくはバイトを控えられた方がよろしくはないですか？事件のせいで警察は園崎家界隈を監視しているようですし、あまり姿を表に出さない方がいいのではないかと思います。
お気遣いは嬉しいけど、バイトしないと食費もないわけですし。
She's speaking mad truths right here. I need to make money to survive. Because I might suggest that he donate money to my cause. However, I had sworn myself that I started living here and that I wouldn't depend on Kasai. While I don't obey anybody else's rules, I stick to my own. Kasai could tell that I was adamant about my decision. So after repeating himself a couple times as a formal I know the word, but I still fucked up in saying it. So he decided to give me a ride after all. Every time we went to my uncle's store by car, we stopped at this traffic light. I knew it was going to happen again, but it still irritated me. Pedestrians passed by in front of the car. I was startled to see that one of them looked like Satoshi-kun. It was him. Though I'd spoken with him on the phone just a couple days before, it had been a while since I saw him last.
葛西、悪いけどおじさんに、やっぱ今日のバイトは行けなくなったって伝えてくれる？私、ここで降ります。
え？シオンさん。
Kasai looked taken aback, but I got out of the car regardless. I'd be taken aback too. The light turned green. The car behind him honked while Kasai was shouting at me, so he had to start moving. Satoshi-kun got on his bike, but he was going really slowly. I caught up with him in a flash and tapped him on the back.
ハロロー。沖宮で会うなんて奇遇ですね、サトシ君。
If I talked to him with a smile, he might smile back. So I smiled as brightly as I could.
ミオン。
He looked tired as always, but I could tell he was trying to smile back. My worries suddenly disappeared. I was certain I looked happy. I was aware that myself, so it must have been obvious to Satoshi-kun.
何があったか知らないけど、ミオンが楽しそうだね。
He's smiling! He's got a smile on his face that makes everybody happy when they see him smile.
ええ、楽しいですよ。サトシ君の機嫌が良さそうなので、私も釣られて機嫌が良くなっただけです。
I teased him. He looked a bit embarrassed. It was like we were back in the good old days. I felt even happier than before.
サトシ君こそ何かあったんですか？何か機嫌が良くなるようないいことがありましたか？
いいことなんかないよ。おばさんが亡くなって、警察とかご近所とかいろいろ大変だよ。
I might have asked something dumb. He seemed to be decently okay with it, though. He frowned a bit at first, but Satoshi-kun continued smiling gently. He looked worn out but satisfied, like he accomplished something great. With that mood, I sensed from him, so I was convinced. The one who killed that wicked ant and tormented Satsuko was him. I had absolutely no proof, but I had an idea that it was him. So, I omitted all those questions. I knew Satoshi-kun's motive for killing his aunt, and how badly he was driven into a corner. I knew the environment and the situation he was in. I knew Satoshi-kun's feelings. I knew all that. So I omitted all of those questions. I wanted to celebrate his release from that curse, so I smiled like nothing was different as I asked.
サトシ君はどこかへお出かけですか？あ、バイトかな？
正解。その前に寄り道なんだけどね。
寄り道？
毎日ちゃんとショーケースにあるのを確認しないとなんだか不安で。
Uh-oh. That conversation reminded me. The reason he started his part-time job was to buy Satoko a huge teddy bear. It was being sold at the toy store just down the street. I recall that the teddy bear was pretty expensive. Satoko's birthday was right after the festival. I wasn't sure what day, though. Wait, didn't he say that he quit his job? Maybe he was going to greet his ex-coworkers and clean out his locker, something like that? Either way, he'd be completely free soon. Maybe he hadn't been paid yet, and that's why he wanted to check to see if they, and he wanted to check to see if they still had a teddy bear. Maybe he was only getting paid on Satsuko's birthday. When we got near the toy store, he rushed to the display window. He looked relieved that it hadn't been sold yet.
よかったよかった。大丈夫。ちゃんとあるよ。
買えるだけのお金は稼げてるわけですよね。なら予約とかしちゃえばいいのに。
もう。
He probably didn't think of that. He really did need someone to look after him. I looked into the display window over his shoulder. The teddy bear wasn't that cute in my opinion. It looked huge and cramped in the middle of the store showcase. Really, it looked like a display model more than an item for sale.
値札がついてないけど、これ本当に売り物なんですか？これ一体いくらするんです？
売り物なのは確認したから間違いないよ。
値段は？予算は大丈夫？
大丈夫だよ。ちゃんと確認してあるよ。
Remind us, Satoshi. Tell the class how much this fucking teddy bear is, why don't you? Satoshi-kun thought I was teasing him again. He pouted and looked a little sulky.
予算が大丈夫なら問題ないじゃないですか。なら予約しちゃいましょう。その方がサトシ君も心の荷が下りていいでしょうしね。
We entered the store and looked for a clerk.
誰もいないのかな。
そりゃ好都合です。サトシ君、お給料日を待たずにぬいぐるみが手に入るかもですね。
ダメだよミオン。泥棒はいけないよ。
But it's silly.
冗談ですって。軽く受け流してほしかったんだけどな。
Is that a Megazord? Like from Power Rangers? I'm just looking around at all the stuff now. Like, fucking shit, bro. What do you expect me to do? Not think properly about all this stuff? There's some plushies hanging from like a swing little set thing up there. What the fuck is all of this? If there's any more references, hell, that's probably not even a Megazord. I'm just probably trying my best to compare anything to anything. I don't know. But hey, it's there.
ひょっとして私が盗っ人の真似を平気でできる女だと思ってます？
あ、ごめん。
Yeah, you crazy bitch. Satoshi-kun smiled apologetically. I puffed up my cheeks to tease him. It really has been a while since we last did this. In between those times, many undesirable things happened that I wanted to forget. But now I felt as though all those things had simply vanished in the air around us. Found an old person napping in the back. Hi, must be the clerk. Going to sleep. Every single Power Rangers fan on following right now. Bruh, listen, what the hell? I'll have you know that just because I don't get the references doesn't mean I don't appreciate them. I am yawning in the middle of this fucking sentence. Fuck. Sorry, I woke up like 2 hours ago. Pain is all I feel. What's up, Rod? How you doing? Hope you're doing well. He looked like he was fast asleep.
すみません。お店の方ですよね。
I poked his shoulder, but he didn't look like he was about to wake up. When I did that, a middle-aged woman appearing in an apron walked in. Such a... Could be a lot better, not gonna lie, but that's life, I guess. Hey, that's fair. That's 100% fair. Life can be a major bitch. Don't know if there was any Power Rangers reference there, but it's not like I'm a fan anyway. Yeah, no, it's fair. I started looking for references because in one of the other background frames, I saw a robot toy at the Watnagashi Festival that looked an awful lot like an entry-grade Gundam. So I was like, is that a Gundam reference? Like, it had the same colors and, like, placements and everything. Like, obviously not exactly the same, but it looked pretty much like a fucking Gundam. So I was like, is that a Gundam reference? Like, holy fucking shit. That's crazy.
おじいちゃん、店番頼んだのにすっかり眠りしちゃった。 お客さん来てるってのにもうごめんなさいね。うちのおじいちゃんももうすっかりボケちゃって。
The middle-aged woman shook the old man awake and told him to get back into the living room. She went to the cash register right after that.
お恥ずかしいところ見せちゃってごめんなさいね。何かお買い上げ？
So the big-ass teddy bear that's the size of 2 towers. Like, you know, like, you combine them both together. Like, you know how, like, when you stack Legos together? My point is, we want that teddy bear, you know? It's very big and we want it.
買うんじゃなくて予約なんですけど、あのショーケースの中の一番大きいぬいぐるみなんですけど。
Come on, Satoshi.
あれ？いいの？値札見た？かなり高いけど、お小遣い大丈夫？
はい。ギリギリ足りるはずです。
もうすぐバイトのお給料が入るそうなので、それまで予約したいんですけど。
The woman looked a bit hesitant at first, but eventually wrote down Satoshi-kun's name and accepted the reservation. Satoshi-kun received a slip of paper.
ね。これでもう誰かに先に買われちゃう心配はもう必要ありません。
お給料がもらえるのはもうすぐなんだけどね。
There you go, my
これ
boy.
で安心できる。
There you go, my boy. He would have kept coming back to check every day if he hadn't done this by now. He would have spent his time needlessly worrying. Satoshi-kun looked very relieved indeed.
これならもっと早くに予約をしていればよかったな。
普通の人は欲しいと思ったら即予約します。そういう思考に至らないサトシ君はちょいと希少です。
It's so fun to tease him. Those painful days seem unbelievable now. Satoshi-kun looked like he had forgotten everything that happened up until yesterday.
でも
Ah, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away, go away. Satoshi-kun held out his hand to touch my head. Was he going to stroke it? I feel my face reddening already. Even before he touched my head, I felt tingly, remembering the last time. I didn't care about the murder or what else happened. As long as Satoshi-kun had his freedom, then everything would be alright. I'd be content as long as we could live happily from today onward. But Satoshi-kun's hand never reached my head. I slowly opened my eyes, only to realize the situation had drastically changed. There were 4 men in suits blocking our way. It looks as though they've been waiting for us to exit the toy store.
どうもどうも。
Oh. Oh. Uh-oh. 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 Hey guys, I ain't gonna lie, I think we fucked. I think we fucked. No. The oldest of the 4 men stepped forward while smirking. I had never seen this man, but it looked like he knew both Mion and Satoshi-kun. GG's no real. He was probably a cop. I ran a search for information in my head, and found some right away.
こんにちは。北条さん、園崎さん。いい雰囲気だったところを邪魔しちゃって実に申し訳ないです。
This must be Sorry, I never hear them say his first name. So when it does come up, I have no idea how to say it. So this is Oishi. Oishi-san. The cop who's been investigating the series of mysterious deaths. He thinks that the Sonozaki family is behind all the cases. In other words, he's an enemy to the Sonozaki family. He had deep connections with other investigation divisions in the police force, and likes to nose around to businesses in his area. He annoys the Sonozaki family enough that it is interfering with its Yakuza business, let alone his suspicions on the series of mysterious deaths. Naturally, as a... Is that a bug? Who the fuck's that dead bitch? I'm gonna fucking shoot. Sorry, I think something flew by, but I didn't see it, so I'm gonna pretend it wasn't real. Naturally, as the family's successor, he's not a welcome figure to Mion Sonozaki. I tried to imagine how Sis would react.
ありゃ、大石さんですか。お仕事ご苦労様です。大の大人が4人も揃って、おもちゃ屋さんに何かご用で？まさかお人形さん買いに来たってわけでもあるまいに。
I know what they want, and it's not a toy. Probably not me either. They want Satoshi-kun. I took a look at Satoshi-kun. He seemed a bit uncomfortable. The other 3 cops loosely surrounded us to prevent any form of an escape.
北条さん、実はですね、ちょいと伺いたいお話がありまして。
何それ？任意同行ってやつ？サトシ君、こんなのに付き合う必要ないよ。行こう。
I pushed onto his shoulder, but he just stood there looking pale and bewildered. Bewildered? No. He actually looked resigned. Then, I recalled Sis's mistake. It's obvious that he killed his aunt from the circumstances. You don't even have to look at the crime scene. How could Mion have failed to create an alibi? That stupid Mion must have spoken to the police without making something up at all. She must have not told them that she knew where Satoshi-kun was. Well, boy. If she hadn't done anything, the villagers wouldn't work to help her. It was a matter of time until the police uncovered Satoshi's complete lack of an alibi. The police were trying to corner him and lead him to confess. I looked at Satoshi-kun's face once again. He looked like a dead man. He probably didn't know he could refuse to be interrogated. If he was taken to the station and grilled by Oishi, he'd confess within a minute. Someone had to protect him. Nobody had ever been there for him. I had to step up now. But how? Would it be possible to alter what Mion had already told them, saying that it was just a mistake? Even then, we don't know what the fuck Mion said to them. That wasn't gonna work. If I had more time to come up with an excellent idea... I don't have that much time at all, though. To pressure him, the cops were drawing nearer. Satoshi-kun must have felt intimidated. He might end up turning himself in due to the pressure, while I'm stuck trying to come up with something. I have to do something now. I have to say something. Otherwise, Satoshi-kun might give in. I have to save him. Oishi drew nearer. Satoshi fell back. Oh, we're fucked.
大して時間は取らせませんから。そんな怖がらないでください。
You always laugh at these sort of things, Oishi, and it makes people scared of you sometimes. The walls are closing in, man! It won't take much time. He just said it. He just said that he wouldn't let him out if he caught him now. Satoshi-kun, don't give in. If you give in now, everything you've been working for will be ruined. Okay. Satoshi-kun looked like he was at his breaking point. Oishi was clearly aware of it. Oishi smirked and held out his arm to grab Satoshi's shoulder. I felt electrified when I saw that. That hand shouldn't be allowed to touch Satoshi. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, are we going full yandere? Are we going full yandere? The moment Oishi couldn't touch his shoulder, he gave in. Damn, bombs. He'd go to the police station and confess everything.
サトシ君にアリバイがあるか知りたいわけですよね。
Oishi turned his face towards me. His hand left hanging in the air. Dude, we just went full... We're probably gonna go full yandere. Oh, fucking hell. I was not very prepared for this. I just had to stop Oishi no matter what. I only needed to gain some time. It didn't really matter what I said.
そうですよ。北条聡さんのアリバイが知りたいんです。私たちの捜査がまずいからなのかな。犯行の時間帯にどうしても北条さんのアリバイが見つけられないんですよ。
Oh, that's cool. That's fun.
仕方ないから恥を忍んでご本人に直接そのあたりをお伺いしようかと思いましてね。
そんなの本人に聞く必要ないです。私がアリバイ証明しますから。
ありゃ、そりゃ本当。なら助かるな。あの晩園崎さんが神社にいてお祭りの最後まで過ごしていたことはすでにあなたからも聞いているし、その他大勢の方からも証言を得ています。
That's true.
そのあなたがそこで北条さんとも一緒だったと言ってくれるなら一番楽なんですがね。
Well, that's the problem. If many people can confirm that quote-unquote Mion was there, well, literally Mion, but still, then they could also confirm that Satoshi was not with us at all. So, I'm just saying, man, we're fucked.
でもあんた、以前そのあたりをお聞きしたとき、北条さんのことは一言も言ってませんよね。実はいましてって、今頃おっしゃるおつもりで？祭り会場の誰一人、北条さんを見ていないのに、あなただけは見ていたとそうおっしゃるおつもりで？
Okay, I know that in this timeline you've never met Keiichi, but you gotta pull some Keiichi-ass shit and just go with it.
そうです。私と一緒にいました。それで十分です。
あなたが仲良しのお友達と終始一緒にいたのは分かっているし、私も会場で実際にお見かけしています。
These bells.
それでも一緒にいたとおっしゃるわけで？
Oh, fuck. Shion, you shouldn't have said that, actually.
そいつはちょっと苦しくない？ん？
Yeah, considering that we know that you saw Satoshi almost an hour after the murder. Well, we don't know exactly when she was murdered, but still. Oishi approached me with a creepy smile. Was he teasing me because my excuse sounded funny? No, I don't think so. He was frustrated due to being interrupted when he was about to catch a big fish.
祭り会場でずっと一緒に遊んでたのに、すっかり忘れてて今頃になって思い出したと、そうおっしゃるおつもり？
Before I die, I would like to say, Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet is a bullshit, terrible fucking video game. Anyway, sorry, I had to get my last words out there. Hang on, I just realized something, and do forgive me because I don't know Japanese, but I'm looking at the characters up here, and they match with right here. But these characters are completely different. Like, they have different colors and stuff, too. What does this say? I don't even know what this says, but what does this say? Why does this say, hey, M and A? Is that their form of M&M's? Star! Sorry. I needed to help people forget about Sword Art Online Fatal Bullet, even though I brought it up.
園崎美音さん。
I did get a little scared, but I couldn't help myself. I could save Satoshi-kun if I revealed my real identity. I was aware of the risk. Grandma would certainly capture me if I revealed it. I didn't think of the consequences after that. Notebook page 27.
っていうか、私ミオンじゃないですし。
Hey, this sprite work looks very familiar. The only difference is we don't have Keiichi. Wait, actually? Have I ever seen this render? It looks familiar. I feel like I've seen one of this with Keiichi. Was this in chapter 2 before? I don't know. Maybe I'm just stupid.
だからもともと綿流しになんか言ってません。
あ
サトシ君とは綿流しの晩は沖宮のファミレスでずっとおしゃべりしてました。エンジェルモートって店ですので、どうぞ店長にも確認を取ってください。
Oishi was still snickering, but he apparently felt confused.
あんた何を言ってるの？あんたミオンじゃないなら誰なわけ？
園崎シオンです。ミオンの双子の妹です。初めてお会いしますね。こんにちは。
Oishi looked perplexed, like he didn't even believe a thing I said. He frowned.
園崎ミオンさんに双子の妹がいたなんて初めて知りましたよ。あんた大人をからかってんの？
からかってなんかないですよ。どうぞ戸籍でも何でも調べてみてください。それともお姉を呼んで二人で並んでみせれば信じます？
All of the cops looked bewildered now.
園崎シオンさん？
はい。シオンですが、何か？
あんたにもちょっと来てもらってもいいですかね。あんたが園崎シオンさんで北条さんと一緒におられたって言うんなら
ええ、望むところです。お手柔らかによろしくお願いいたします。
The cops gathered at their car and started discussing something. It looked as though they never expected this to happen. I hope to be able to fake Satoshi's alibi at least for a little while. It shouldn't be too difficult to talk to Sis about this, and then forge up an alibi together. The plot thickens.
サトシ君、何を聞かれてもエンジェルモートで私とおしゃべりをして過ごしていたと言い張ってください。
How do you think? Hey man. Now we're gonna get to the part just like how many times when I hung out were you was it Shion and not Mion?
私が何とかしますから。何を聞かれてもよく覚えていないとか。うん。サトシ君なら下手なことは言わず黙り込んだ方が無難かもです。
Satoshi-kun wore a startled expression, as though I was telling him something important. He decided not to listen.
サトシ君、聞いてます？ここでしっかりしないと刑事たちの思うツボです。
He must have been feeling deceived. No wonder. I just confessed that I wasn't Mion, but her twin sister. I really had been deceiving him.
怒ってます？
なんで？
騙してて。
Satoshi-kun started laughing. I don't know why he's laughing. Because he wasn't really the type who would laugh in order to hide something.
たまに教室のミオンと話が食い合わないことがあったから違和感は感じてたんだ。やっとわかったよ。
怒らないでくれるんですか？騙してたこと。
Satoshi-kun looked puzzled. It was like he didn't know whether he should be upset about it or not. Or maybe he was only pretending to be that way.
はじめまして。じゃないんだよね。
はい、そうなります。
そっか。シオンってどう書くの？
詩を読むの詩に音でシオンです。
シオン。
ん？
いい名前だね。
じゃあお二人さん、すみませんが署までご同行願いますか。
Oishi, get off my dick! I'm getting this hoe!
粉末でよければコーヒーか紅茶かくらいは選べますよ。
Fuck off! I'm fucking doing my shit. Fuck you. Stop cockblocking. Yeah, exactly. Fucking clam jammer. Fucking... Do we get the tips or no? Yeah. Notebook page 29. Well, ain't this something? Oh wait, actually I should save this first real quick. Let's view the new tip. Either Satoshi-kun was smart or very lucky. Or maybe it wasn't him. The police found nothing at the crime scene that would indicate his involvement within the murder. Yet Satoshi-kun was still the prime suspect. Considering his home environment and had a strong enough motive, he had no alibi. The police had everything other than physical evidence. It wasn't surprising that Oishi took that chance. He probably didn't expect me to step in, but what I did was a little to avert his suspicion of Satoshi. Oishi believed that Satoshi-kun did it. He was waiting for Satoshi-kun to fall apart and confess. That's what both Oishi and I were thinking. But that hypothesis was destroyed later on. I'll not talk about it now, but Oishi's theory will be disproven, and the police will be thrown into shock. The question comes to mind, that is, who saved Satoshi-kun? I can only think that it was a possibility that the Sonozaki family invented the culprit. What did you do? Man. Let's be dead ass for like... Let's be dead ass. This is an interesting chapter within Higurashi. And I don't even know if we're halfway done or not with chapter 5. There's probably still a lot more to read through. Oh my god. The last stream was kind of intense. A lot of shit happened. And yeah, still some shit happened here, but wasn't too bad. This can go either way. Yeah, that's true. This is very true. But I guess we won't know if we just sit around here talking. Let's see what's next. The cops were smart enough to separate us during questioning. Makes sense. Oishi didn't come to talk to me. His aim was Satoshi-kun and nobody else. I got a young cop who talked just about ordinary things. He must have been trying to ease me into interrogation. Smart. When I realized that, the clumsy way that he spoke began to frustrate me. Is Satoshi-kun alright? I didn't think Oishi really bought my testimony. He must be trying to get Satoshi-kun to confess in spite of that. All I could do was pray that he kept quiet. The phone on the desk rang, and a cop picked it up.
Hi, Kumagai desu. Hi? ああ、そうですか。わかりました。すぐに。
He hung up and told me that somebody had came to retrieve me. If it's not Kasai, then we're fucked. It looked like Satoshi-kun had to stay. Were they going to continue interrogation just because he had nobody to pick him up? Although, maybe I should have been more worrying about myself. The hag probably heard about me by now since I revealed my real identity to the police. I couldn't hide any longer. I was going to receive some sort of punishment. I had no idea what she ended up doing to me. The degree of punishment for a traitor was always severe in the world of Sonozakis. The punishment must be carried out. If it is to protect the family's reputation, it's carried out no matter what. Maybe I should kiss my pinky finger while I can. Alright, Yakuza shit. Ah, fun, fun, fun. I asked the young cop just in case.
ねえねえ、アメリカなんかでよく死刑囚が死刑廃止の州で捕まると引き渡さないでくれるっていう話あるじゃないですか。
I love that, Oni. No! Maybe it was too difficult for him. He just looked puzzled. Flashback begins the anime scene. Flashback to 2021 when I first played Yakuza 0. A glossy black car was waiting for me in front of the police station. A few men from my dad's office bowed to me.
シオンさん、ご無沙汰しております。
葛西は
No. Kasai had been helping me ever since my escape from the school. They wouldn't allow him to walk free.
お姉はどうしてるの？何か言ってる？
私たちはシオンさんを本家へお連れしろとしか言われていませんので。
Fuck.
詳しくは本家でお尋ねになってください。
After saying that, he escorted me into the car. A man sat on either side of me. Obviously, they didn't want me to escape. Thinking of Satoshi-kun, I looked back at the police station. Hold tight, Satoshi-kun. I'll grin and bear it, too. The car started off roughly. It was never a good occasion when I went to this house. Except when Mion and I were really small, oblivious to what the Sonozaki's name really meant for us. I had only been here when I had to attend boring family councils. Oh, I don't like this. This shit already gave me bad vibes when it was daytime, and now it's nighttime, and the Higurashi are chirping. I don't like this. Traders weren't allowed to go in through the main gate. Oh no. I got out of the car. It looked like Sis would be the only person to receive me. I almost spoke to her casually, but her cold gaze froze me before I could. Time to get a murder. Now, will the light be gone from Mion's sprite? Or will we get a close-up of red eyes?
お久しぶりですね、シオン。
Never mind, she looks decently normal, all things considered.
新年以外に会えるとは思いませんでした。
It gave me chills to hear her greet me in such a cold manner.
ミオン姉様こそ、ご機嫌麗しゅうございます。新年以外にお顔が見れて、3問くらいの得を感じます。
I responded, trying to sound likewise.
当主は大変ご立腹ですよ。どう釈明されるか見ものです。私がするような釈明なんて別にないですし。
I had no excuse. I escaped from the school solely because I couldn't stand it there. That was all.
シオン、来なさい。皆待っています。
Mion escorted me, and the others followed. We went to the garden, not into the house. As we passed through a large yard in the woods, I realized where she was taking. When we were little, we were told never to go near those woods. Oh no. I had a vague idea of what was in the back of them. I heard there was a hidden entrance to an underground torture room where they used to punish the enemies of the family. No. The more hideous rumors I heard about the family, the more credible those rumors seemed. I wasn't completely certain about any of it. I had never expected to see the torture room myself. We came to a concave clearing in the middle of the woods. I saw a metal door at the bottom of it. The door reminded me of some kind of bomb shelter.
これが噂の地下拷問室
Oh,
ってや
don't
つ
speak
です
about
ね
it so casually, Shion. I was surprised to hear my own voice. My voice was trembling. It made me realize that I was more scared than I originally thought. Nobody answered my question. The air felt very tense. According to the family rules, one of the twins must be eliminated. Was I finally going to be eliminated? I realized I had been underestimating my punishment. I hadn't been aware of real terror until now. I just thought it was. Beyond the steel door was the air had an intimidating smell. This was really happening to me. I shouldn't allow myself to give in to fear. I felt like saying something rude, but my lips were dry, and my fingers were fidgeting. I was escorted through the narrow hallway and down a few set of stairs. There, I saw another huge door. So this is the place. It was what's with the fucking scratching sounds? It was a spacious and utterly odd-looking room. The room had two sections, and it looked completely different. One side looked like a lounge. I saw several high-ranking members of the family council sitting in the cushions there, looking expressionless. I don't like where this is going. Oni, prep yourself, because I don't like where this is going. Huh? That was already puzzling enough. And there were these things. To be honest, they had captured my attention the moment I arrived. I noticed them even before I saw the lounge and tiled space. I just didn't want to accept that they existed. I couldn't stand straight. I almost dropped to my knees, but I couldn't. Two young men had been holding me by the arm since I got here. There were oddly shaped things hanging from the wall. I was just refusing to recognize what they were. I knew exactly what they were called. I see. I understood that. These eerily shaped objects were the torture devices from hell. Oh no, Wrinkle Face is back. Fuck, bro. God, fucking plum looking dumb fuck. Well, technically I didn't return by my own volition. The hag, sitting in front of the lounge, intimidated me in a horrid voice and her horrid appearance. You had to say something. Hey man, I'm just saying. She kept cursing me for a while, but she was later, that's a word, that I could barely tell what she was saying. I knew what she was trying to say, though. The hag was willing to forgive my escape from the school, but once I revealed my identity to the police, she had to step in. Since I had disobeyed the family rule, she as the leader was forced to punish me. Moreover, there was one thing that bothered her more than anything else. It was the fact that I covered for Satoshi-kun. The Hojo family had been seen as traitors to the village ever since the dam conflict. I don't care. Satoshi-kun is still considered one of them. She couldn't accept the fact that I was connected to him. To me, that was a bit unexpected. I'd escaped from the school the hag put me in. All the while I believed that she was upset about that. But in fact, she said that she was the most uncomfortable with my connection with Satoshi-kun. I couldn't believe this. Of course I knew that Satoshi-kun's family was persecuted for their betrayal, but I didn't think that Satoshi-kun was also burdened with that responsibility.
そんなの、サトシ君関係ないじゃないですか。サトシ君の親はわかるとしても、サトシ君個人には何の責任もな。
We're out here speaking facts. Ooh, as if her face couldn't get any uglier. The hag interrupted me with a shout, which made me cower in fear. She continued slandering the Hojos and said that Satoshi-kun was a cursed child. I started feeling pissed off. What did he do to deserve this? What was he being blamed for? It was too late when I realized what I'd said out loud. The hag looked furious. I obviously made her upset. I decided to repeat myself and made it clear how I felt.
鬼ババ、あんた何言ってんの？黙って聞いてれば言いたい放題。
なんばねすったら口の利き。
やかましい！しまいまで聞きなよ、鬼ババ。
Oh. I shouted loudly to silence the hag.
だいたいあんたはサトシ君の何を知ってるの？
The F word's being used. Fuck is being used more. Fuck is being used more in Higurashi Chapter. Let's go. That's how you know shit's about to go down.
サトシ君のことをよく知りもしないくせに、まるで彼を害虫みたいに言い捨てて。サトシ君がどんなにいい人か、私はよく知っている。彼が北条だからいけないの？バッカみたい。時代錯誤も甚だしい。園崎の私が北条のサトシ君と一緒にいたのがそんなにも不愉快なの？くったらないくったらないバッカみたい。こんな安っぽい色味釣りを自分で体験できるなんて思わなかったな。
My voice became hoarse from shouting. My face was messy with tears. Even so, I didn't feel like putting a stop to my emotional explosion. I was all too aware that I was just being overwhelmed by fear. The hag was glaring at me while breathing heavily. I glared back at her as fiercely as I could. Eventually, I realized that her sticking point of my relationship was... She wasn't only upset that I had the mere connection with them.
そっか。ミオンがそういう告げ口をしたわけか。
This shit does stuff, bro. It was as though that fucking lid. Sorry. It was as though Mion was wearing a mask. She didn't budge under my penetrating glare. That was what the hag was really unhappy about. The fact that I was in love with Satoshi-kun.
確かに私、自分が園崎家だとか、サトシ君が北条家だとか、そんなの全然興味ないし、園崎家のメンツがとか、世間体がどうとか、全然関心ありません。認めますよ、認めます。私は北条サトシ君が好きです。彼のことが大好きです。それっていけないこと？人が人を好きになるのに何か理由が必要？
I could see the relatives shaking their heads in turmoil. Among them, I saw my mom. She must have been trying to protect me. But even she wouldn't look at me. Instead, she looked silently at the floor.
後ろのあんたたちも聞こえてるでしょ？私おかしいこと言ってる？あんたたちだってサトシ君をよく知れば、彼がどんなに素敵な男の子で私が好きになるのがおかしくないことがすぐにわかる。なのになんで相手の人格も知ろうとしないで一方的に。
Mion held out a hand to silence me. Then she slowly walked in my direction.
もう結構です、シオン。あなたの言い分と覚悟はよくわかりました。
Mion put her head close to mine and whispered.
シオンの覚悟はよくわかったよ。でもここまで言い切っちゃったら、誰にももうかばえない。シオンがけじめをつけてみせるしかない。けじめ？なんで私がなんでそんなバカな。シオン。
Mion's face turned cold again. She calmly told me.
あなたの言う個人の理屈は多分正しい。でもね、あなたも理解していると思うけど、ここはひなみ沢で、私たちは園崎家なの。
Mion, it's still bullshit.
御三家の末席で、今や事実上のひなみ沢の筆頭家。
It's still bullshit.
そしてあなたは仮にも、園崎家次期当主である
It's still
園
bullshit.
崎
I
美代
will
の
say it as
双子の
many times as I
妹。
need to. It's still bullshit.
それが
I interrupted her.
あんたとはこっちに帰ってからどうもそのあたりの話が食い合わないですね。大人の事情みたいなことばっか。ひなみ沢？園崎家？だから何？私はそんなの全然興味な。聞きなさい。
Mion interrupted me just like I did her.
シオンは今日まで沖宮で生活するにあたってどれだけの人の世話になってる？
Was it technically only Kasai? Chills shot through my spine.
葛西さん、 奥の牢屋にいる。
なんで葛西が？
I knew why, of course. Then the moment I got caught, those who helped me were destined to meet the same fate. We were all suspect to a punishment of betrayal. Maybe my punishment would have been a little lighter if they had, than what they'd been going through. Kasai and Uncle Yoshiro must have been treated much worse than this. Everybody who helped me was falling victim.
シオンがどういう目にあっても、お世話になった葛西さんや吉郎おじさんがどうなるかまでは考えが及ばない。
My head rapidly cooled down. My aggression was all used up. I should be able to bear whatever punishment they bring me. But I resented the fact that I'd be putting all those people who supported me at risk.
シオン、ばっちゃんに謝って、けじめをつけてみせれば、シオン一人だけの話で全部済む。誰にも迷惑をかけない。
でも、ミオン、私、間違ったこと言った？そんなにも悪いことした？
The moment Mion learned that I wasn't willing to apologize, her expression turned cold again. She turned her back to me and returned to the lounge. I talked back to the hag in a really harsh manner. I told her that I didn't do anything wrong, yet I involved so many people who I owed so much. It went without saying that this was my responsibility. I was the sole person to blame, and no fault lay with them. Yes, Kasai and Yoshua were blameless, just as Satoshi-kun was. But then, as if she could read my mind, Mion turned around and gave a slight nod. It was possible that something was going to happen to Satoshi-kun, on top of Kasai and Uncle Yoshiro.
待って、お姉！
That can't happen. Satoshi-kun, I mean, no one else should be punished.
何ですか、シオン。
Tears rolled down my cheeks. I no longer cared about my pride.
ごめんなさい。私が間違っていました。許してください、当主様。
I should have said what the hag wanted to hear. Yet she still looked unsatisfied. Maybe that wasn't too surprising. I had denounced her so badly in front of the relatives. She wouldn't forgive me so easily. Just then, Mion spoke as the successor.
ではシオン、どうやってけじめをつけるつもりです？
けじめってどうすれば？
Nothing could be scarier than being told to pay up while standing next to a horrid-looking torture devices. That's true. I was completely terrified. I couldn't move from trembling. Mion saw that and whispered to our grandmother. The hag nodded. Mion summoned some young minions and gave them an order. They removed one of the torture devices hanging from the wall. Which one? I'm gonna need you to describe it. Then set a table in front of me and put the device on top of it. What's the device?
何これ？
爪を剥ぐための道具です。
Oh no, 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 oh no, no, oh fuck, oh no, oh fuck no, oh fuck no, oh no, oh no, no. Ooh, I've said this in the last stream and I'll say it again. I've never watched the anime, but I've seen clips. So I am very much aware. Not again.
使い方はわかります？
Do you know how to use it? No, ma'am. I'm a visual learner.
わかるわけないでしょ。
I shook as I stared at the tool. It looked like a giant nail clipper. I don't think so. You probably put the part that looks like a beak between your finger and nail, pulling them apart. Ah! Oh, fuck. Chills ran up and down my spine when I imagined that.
爪1枚ずつでシオンがかけた迷惑のそれぞれのけじめとします。園崎シオン、どの指でも構いません。自らの手で3枚の爪を剥がしてみせなさい。
Even I'd rather have someone else do that. Fuck. 3. One for Kasai, one for Uncle Yoshiro, and the last for Satoshi-kun. It's a fairly reasonable number. I'm surprised they didn't do 4 for like, hey, you escaped.
本当にそれで他の人は許してくれるんですか？
I need an answer.
約束して。私がちゃんと自分の爪を剥げたら他のみんなは許すと約束して。これはあなたのけじめであって取引ではありませんよ。この方法が気に入らないならやるから待って。待ってよ。やるから。
Something tells me I'm gonna hear some blood-curdling screams, and I don't think I'm prepared. I put the device to my little finger while shaking badly. If my fingernail were shorter, it would have been harder. The metal beak captured my little finger beautiful. Oh, fuck. The subordinates then stabilized my left hand with a restraining tool. That seemed reasonable because my finger would slip out if it weren't restrained like that. Oh, I hate this. I genuinely fucking hate this. Oh my god. As the subordinates buckled up the leather straps, I realized that this was really happening, and there was no escape. Somewhere in my mind, I was thinking that they might not forgive me just from this gesture alone. I shouldn't have been so naive. The emotions I've been holding back appeared in the form of tears, kept rolling down my cheeks. Oh my god. Yeah, we're dead. It was like my feelings were being squeezed out until the very last drop. Or drip, whatever. Something even more horrifying followed this. Was the silence that awaited my next action.
どうするの？
One of the subordinates pointed to the handle, told me to either squeeze it or hit it. Oh, fuck, why? What do you mean squeeze it or hit it? What'll happen? He recommended the latter would be easier to make it quick. Nobody said anything after that. There was nothing to hear but the sound of my sweat dripping onto the floor. The onlookers were staring at me silently, waiting for me to execute my punishment. Both the hag and Mion. They were also anticipating it. Come on, Mion. I could refuse, but that meant I wouldn't be paying up. This punishment exists to offer payment in exchange for the safety of those who helped me. If I refused, then they would suffer. I started breathing heavily. I knew that if I did this, the others could go free. This was, if you thought about it, quite a good deal. If it weren't me, it wouldn't just be 3 fingernails. If it were Kasai, he would have to sacrifice his little finger or something much more. I knew that. It was my selfish desire to get away from that school. Why did Kasai have to suffer because of that? I knew that. Why did Uncle Yoshiro have to suffer because he provided me with a job? Oh, I'm not ready for this. I knew that the hag and the other relatives hated the Hojos. I still didn't know what they'd do to Satoshi-kun if I didn't do this. Would they bring Satoshi-kun here and tell him to do the same? Would they tell him to remove his fingernails in exchange for forgiving me? Yeah, I know, right? They're really prolonging this shit and I hate it. I just wish they... My fingers are getting fucking... they're getting fidgety just waiting for this. He'd do it. He'd sacrifice himself with no hesitation in order to save others. My sweat dripped onto the table through my nose. I'd do it, yes. It was only 3 fingernails. It might hurt a lot, but I wouldn't die. The fingernails would grow back. Yeah, probably painfully grow back, though. It wouldn't even leave a huge scar. It'd leave a mental one. I shouldn't be afraid. The punishment was minimal because it was me. If I refused to do this, others would be punished much more severely. I couldn't let that happen to Kasai, Uncle Yoshiro, and Satoshi-kun. I was the only one who should be punished. So I just needed to bear the pain. I wasn't just breathing heavily anymore. I was also moaning faintly. Ready to scream at any moment. That's right, make it quick. This wasn't torture, so I didn't have to prolong the moment of pain. I should do it in one swift blow. That way, my pain and fear would be minimalized. I raised my right arm. Oh no, here we go! Quickly. Quickly. The pain would be lessened if I did it in one stroke. Just do it, bitch! Just do it! It'd be much more painful if I messed up. Do it! I held my breath. It was as if my body was frozen. I was choking. Chills crept up my spine. Don't be afraid, Shion. Fingernails are just a tiny fraction of the whole body, just a square centimeter. I could do this. I could bear it. I smacked my right hand onto the handle of the device. I sensed the noise through my body instead of my ears. At the same time, I felt a pain I'd never experienced before. A moment later, the pain pulsated with my heartbeat. What the fuck is this music? I clenched my teeth. Felt like my teeth were cracking. I tightly shut my eyes until my eyeballs got squeezed up. Fuck me too, Oni. The pain wouldn't fade. Rather, it swelled with my blood pressure. I felt as though it was bloating like a balloon. Timidly, I opened my eyes, found that my little finger wasn't really drenched in blood. It was bleeding, but not much. Certainly not enough to explain how much it hurt. My fingernail was open, just like the hood of a car. Fuck! I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was overwhelming. It occurred to me that I had only done one of the 3. Oh no, it just dawned upon you. I really had to repeat this 2 more times? No! Did I have to remove the nails from my ring and middle finger as well? I looked at the hag and Mion, begging for mercy, but they were just silently staring at me, as if the show had only begun. Well, technically it just did begin. I saw no hint of mercy in their eyes. I expected no mercy from the hag, to be fair. They wouldn't be changing their minds. Since they said 3, it had to be 3. They wouldn't forgive me until I removed 2 more fingernails.
Mio, これで許して。あのね。私の顔を見ればわかるよね。本当にさ、痛くて。
Mion answered, still wearing a cloak.
シオ、もう無理。
She didn't mean that it was sufficient. What she meant was that others would take the remaining punishment if I didn't. I knew that. I really did know.
やれるよ。 こんなの全然楽勝だって。このサディストどもが。
Oh, she's going insane.
こんなの怖くない。こんなの痛くない。
I quickly moved the metal beak and set it onto my ring finger, and then smacked it down with no hesitation. Fuck! Instead of making it quick, maybe I was just rushing out of fear. I messed up. The torture tool clipped just the tip of my fingernail. The pain, however, was equal. I couldn't believe I had only chipped it. Did I have to do it again? Did I have to continue removing the nail from my ring finger? That much pain again? Again?
シオン。やだ。
I couldn't bear it anymore. I started crying shamelessly.
もうやだやだ。もう無理だの。本当に痛いの。もう許して。本当に許してよ。ごめんなさいごめんなさい。謝りますから許してください。ごめんなさいごめんなさいごめんなさいごめんなさい。ごめんなさいごめんなさいごめんなさい。
This feels all too familiar. They didn't seem to hear my voice. It felt as though there was an invisible barrier between us. They showed no mercy. They were just here to witness this ritual. So rather than sympathetic, they looked amazed by my screw-up. Mion walked up to me. No, don't, and whispered to my crying face.
シオン。
I don't want you saying anything to me, Mion. Mion, do me a quick favor and fuck off this fucking instant.
あとちょっとだから頑張って。
Ooh, yep. This is the situation we're in. Mion shook her head, then signaled its subordinates. They came from behind me. They covered my head with something like a knit cap. It was a blindfold. Then one of them pinned me in the Nelson hold, restricting my movement. What is going on? I couldn't overpower the guy behind me. It felt something strange on my left hand. The other guy was doing something with the torture tool. He put the metal beacon between my ring finger and his fingernail. Oh no. My left hand was fixed on the restraints, so I couldn't put up much of a protest anyway. But even that left hand was pressed down by his rough palms until it hurt, robbing it of any freedom even to tremble. They had no hesitation. It was made very clear to me how merciless people could be. Robbed of my vision, all I could do was clench my teeth against the pain assailing me. If there was anything I was thankful for, was that he was well practiced and had ripped off both of my fingernails cleanly. The pain and screaming might induce neurotic chemicals in the brain. While screaming, I started losing consciousness. I love Higurashi. Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. I woke up. My memories were missing. I couldn't remember how I got back into my room. I held my hand with both my heads. Oh god. My left hand was bandaged. The fingers that had their nails removed were swollen like hot dogs. I had paid with those fingernails for what I did. The hat had said something after the punishment, but I don't remember any of it. I was taken to the hospital in Okinawa. The car shook on the way, adding extra pain on top of what I had already felt. Somebody gave me some aspirin. It worked just like they said it would on TV. But they didn't last any more than 10 minutes. I swallowed the pills without water. While I was spacing out in the waiting lounge, Kasai showed up. He probably came to check if I was alright. I obviously wasn't. He must have understood that from my bandaged left arm dangling from my shoulder. Kasai, on the other hand, looked just fine. At least on the outside. I was relieved that my sacrifice had meant something. Kasai didn't say anything. I couldn't tell if he wanted to tell me something or not because he looked so emotionless.
Kasai?
なんでしょう?
He paused shortly before answering. I could tell he was upset. I didn't regret revealing my true identity in order to protect Satoshi-kun. But I hadn't wanted Kasai or Uncle Yoshiro to be hurt. I was contradicting myself.
吉郎おじさんはどうなったか知ってます？
いいえ。したたかな方です。ご無事と思います。後で謝られた方がいいでしょう。
うん。
I wanted to ask him about Satoshi-kun too. I wondered if he was captured or harassed by the Sonozaki family because of me. But I was hesitant to ask Kasai. After all, I had chosen Satoshi-kun over them. Was Satoshi-kun alright? I hoped he wouldn't get caught, or... yeah. I don't want him to die. Paid the hospital bill, and Kasai gave me a ride home. I finally realized that someone was knocking at my door.
シオンさん、横になり続けるのもやはり体に毒です。
It was Kasai. He had put some dishes on the table and started nibbling on them.
気分は落ち着かれましたか？
落ち着いたというか、
この数日間はずっと伏せっていたんですか？食事はされていましたか？
冷蔵庫の中の残り物を適当に食べてました。あとは天井を見てるか眠っているかのどっちか。
It had been 3 days. I must have been lying down since then. I woke up every now and then in my shallow sleep, but I didn't feel like getting up or thinking. I felt like I had been floating the whole time. My appetite was gone, but it came back with the smell of the food Kasai brought. I wasn't able to think of anything to talk to Kasai about, so I ate silently. Jesus Christ.
昨日、ミオンさんから連絡がありました。シオンさんの部屋に何度か電話したけど、出なかったからということで。
The moment I heard Mion's name, I felt my wounds throb. But it didn't stop Kasai, who continued.
園崎本家としては、シオンさんがご自分でけじめをつけられたので、あの学園には退学届が出されます。シオンさんは沖宮の学校に編入になるそうです。
園崎シオンの人権が認められたってことか。
そうですね。今後は園崎シオンとして生活してくださって構わないそうです。
Oh, God damn it.
ですが、みだりにひなみ沢には近づかないこと。園崎ミオンを語らないこと。人前にみだりに姿を現さないこと。他にも細々とありますが、つまるところ。
Since Mion was, doing all this shit, why didn't we remove a 4th fingernail for her? I mean, it might have been because, subordinates and shit like that, or successor shit and whatever, or maybe it wasn't that much of a big deal, but still curious.
存在を認めてやるから、本家に目立つようなことは二度とするなってわけか。
Great.
そういうことになります。もちろん永続的なわけじゃありません。ほとぼりが冷めるまで当分ということです。具体的にいつまでという期限があるわけではありませんが、今年いっぱいくらいは これまで通り目立たない生活を送られた方がよろしいかと思います。
私は沖宮でひっそり暮らすだけで十分です。もともとこれまでだってそうして暮らしてきたわけだし。
Kasai put on a sad smile. I smiled back at him likewise. Before the conversation ended, I should ask him what I wanted to know.
サトシ君はどうなったの？
I wish that... Oh. Dude, fucking no you didn't. I saw a notification appear on my fucking shit. What the fuck? Hang on, sorry. Let's see. Live chat and number of viewers cannot be collected due to a server connection error. Please check the platform's website. Everything looks perfectly fine. I don't know what you're talking about. Ya fucking program. Oni, if you still exist, can you just put something random in the chat just to make sure this is working? I have no idea if it's actually fucking with me or not. Prism's being a little weird. Just kind of popped up with that out of nowhere. Just to make sure. Check on like. Unless it is a Twitch thing. I don't know. I don't think it is. I do not know. Let me check on my shit. But he didn't answer like that.
葛西、サトシ君は
シオンさん。
Kasai put his chopsticks down. No.
本家から北条聡君のことは忘れろとことづかっています。
何それ？
Uh-oh.
シオンさん、あなたと喧嘩はしたくないんで、これ以上この話はしたくありません。本家からの言葉を伝えるのみにとどめさせてもらいます。
何その話をしたくないってのは。葛西。
Kasai pretended as though he didn't hear me and started eating again. Wow. Fun. I'd never seen him get so stubborn like this. The Sonozaki family has been using the Hojo family as a scapegoat. They must have concluded that Sonozaki he wouldn't be in love with a Hojo. Alright, that's me letting the message... Okay, so it... That's weird. So, I can still see your chat on the fucking Twitch thing, right? It went through on Twitch, but it's not showing up on the chat box. Can I fix that? Chat box. Where is the chat box, actually? Prism chat. Here we go. Can I... No? Can I maybe change the properties? Maybe that'll fix it? Nope, that doesn't seem to fix it at all. Can I copy it? Ah! I clicked the wrong thing. Yeah. Apologies. Let me see if I can try to fix this shit. Let me see if I can just make a new Prism chat. Will that do anything? Okay, well now it's invisible. It's not showing me what conspired. This is fucked up, bro. Okay, that's... Okay, delete Prism chat too. What the fuck, bro? Why is it doing that? Properties... It should be working fine. I don't know why. I mean, I'm still seeing, like, on Twitch and shit, that chat's still going through. This application has some fucking weird struggles, man. I'm gonna be honest. BRB, alright. No worries, because chat is just dying on me for no reason. I did copy it though. Shouldn't I be able to paste it in? I think I did paste it in, but I don't think that did much. If anything, I think it made it worse. Alright, I guess I'll just create a new chat source, because Prism apparently doesn't know how to keep their stuff intact or something. I don't know. Okay. Okay, we'll just temporarily hide this one and make this the main one. If Oni does come back and the chat gets fixed from the second one, then that's cool. If not, then I'm just gonna throw something. I just accidentally skipped the dialogue. They have concluded that as soon as I shouldn't be in love with Hojo. Didn't like that. Satoko was a friend of Mion's at school. Would it be okay if Satoshi-kun and I were the same gender? Anyway, if I did something conspicuous again, they might do something to him for real. Just like how they forced me to remove my own fingernails, the Sonozaki family wouldn't hesitate, and they'd torture him if need be. Maybe if I really loved him, I should stay away. Satoshi-kun wouldn't show up in Okonomiya unless he rejoins the Hinamizawa fighters. I'd have to pretend to be Mion if I wanted to go to Hinamizawa. But I didn't think she'd cooperate with me. Even if she did, it'd be some time down the road. Even if they told me not to see him, I already had no means of doing that again. Oh, wait. Mion gave me his number a little while ago. I could call him. Maybe ask to meet with him secretly. But if I got caught again, they wouldn't cut me any slack. Should I risk it? What the hell did I even want from Satoshi-kun?
葛西、ちょっと一人になりたい。
Kasai started putting away his food in a rush, assuming that I wanted him to leave.
あ、いいの。葛西はのんびり食べてて。私がちょっと一人で散歩がしたいだけなの。
私もシオンさんと一緒に出ないとこの部屋に鍵がかけられません。
Kasai quickly put away his meal and followed me out.
あ、先に断っとくけど、別にサトシ君に会いに行くわけじゃないからね。
わかりました。
I turned around and started walking. My destination was rather pathetic. It was the toy store that sold the giant teddy bear. I couldn't deny that I was somewhat expecting Satoshi-kun to pass by here. Couldn't stop myself from looking at the faces of the passerby who resembled him. I looked into the store's window. The teddy bear was gone.
サトシ君、おめでとう。変えたんだね。
His evil aunt had died and his wicked uncle was living with his mistress. Satoshi-kun had succeeded in fulfilling his duty as the big brother by buying his little sister that huge teddy bear. There was probably no one left to hurt him. He was free from his tiresome efforts. He was completely free from the pain. Over time, he'd retrieve his smile, and he'd go back to being the Satoshi-kun that I love. But I wouldn't be there with him. I heard a car honking. I didn't think it was honking at me at first, but it was so persistent that I had to look up. The person waving at me from the car was Irie. He was waving at me all carefree, oblivious to my feelings.
園崎さん、ご無沙汰していますね。あ、ひょっとしてサトシ君と待ち合わせでしたか？
いえ、そういうわけじゃないです。
そのおもちゃ屋さんのショーウィンドウはサトシ君もよく覗いていましたからね。それでてっきり サトシ君との待ち合わせか何かかなって思っちゃいまして。
いえ、たまたまここを通りかかっただけです。変えたみたいですね、サトシ君。
Irie seemed to know about the teddy bear as well. He smiled upon seeing the empty display space.
昨日がサトコちゃんの誕生日でした。きっとあのぬいぐるみでそれをお祝いできたと思います。
じゃあもうサトシ君は無茶なアルバイトに精を出さなくてもいいわけですね。
そうですね。
サトシ君ってそのひなみざわファイターズ退部届とか出しちゃったんですか？
そんなもの出てたんですか？私は受け取ってませんよ。マネージャーの園崎さんは？
受け取ってないです。
誰も退部届を受け取ってないならまだうちの部員ってことですね。しばらくして生活が落ち着いたらまた戻ってきてくれるんじゃないかなって思ってます。でもその時に園崎さんがいなかったらきっと悲しむだろうな。
Irie teased me. He is a grown-up after all. He must have been trying to sound optimistic because he knew that I was feeling a bit down.
園崎さんも落ち着いたらいつでもチームに帰ってきてください。あなたがいないとやっぱり寂しいですよ。園崎さんが帰ってきてくれたらぜひ女子マネージャーの制服をメイドさんな格好にしようと思ってました。
Irie. I burst into laughter. Irie sure hadn't changed.
あ、そうだ。もう名乗ってもいいんだった。監督、今まで騙しててすみません。私、ミオンじゃないんです。シオンっていう双子の妹なんです。訳ありで今までずっとミオンのふりしてきました。
双子の妹さんですか？
Hi. He was taken aback and I burst into laughter again.
そうです。園崎シオンと言います。園崎本家に嫌われてるんで、あまり堂々と暮らせる立場じゃないんですけどね。
知らなかったですよ。まさかミオンさんに双子の妹さんがいたなんて。
そりゃ全く同感です。
And then the happy music stopped. Suddenly a loud voice interrupted us. The voice sounded mean and greasy, unlike Irie's. It was him, Oishi.
入江先生もこんにちは。先日は遅くまでありがとうございました。
いえ、何もお役に立てませんで申し訳ないです。
They were just going through the motions. It was obvious that they hated each other. Irie whispered to me.
私はもうここを離れますが、一緒に車に乗りますか？お家まで送りますよ。
Irie figured that Oishi was after me, so he was giving me a chance to slip away. Looking at Oishi's face, it was clear that he had a focus on me and not Irie. He probably intended to interrogate me until my testimony broke. I was sure I could talk my way out of it, but it'd be a waste of time.
そうですね。じゃあ監督、そろそろ行きましょうか。
ありゃ、お二人でどちらかにお出かけの途中でしたか？
ええ、チームのユース積み会用に景品を探しているところだったんです。他にも行くお店がたくさんありますので、この辺で私たちは失礼します。
I didn't think about it. Wait, what if I... Let's see. Never mind. I was checking the chat thing to see if I could, like... Because I remember that some sources on OBS, if you, like, hide them, then they get disabled until they're visible again. So I just wanted to see if there was anything like that, but I guess that's not the case. Do I have a Discord ad? I do have a Discord ad. It's from the Oni. What the fuck? It won't let me. It wants me to die. Irie bowed and I followed suit. I had to admire how good he was at lying. He is a grown-up after all. Oishi seemed to know that it was a lie. But he didn't have a warrant, so he couldn't stop us. I moved to get into Irie's car.
お怪我は大丈夫なんですか？園崎しおんさん。
I gasped when I heard that. My left hand was bandaged. It was unsightly, so I kept it in my pocket. There was no way Oishi could have been able to see it.
可能さえしなきゃきれいに治りますよ。私も子供の頃は何度か爪を剥いじゃったことがありましたがね。ほら、きれいなもんでしょう。
Okay, how do you...
男の爪が綺麗でも気色悪いだけです。
Oishi scratched his head and chuckled. He's supposed to be one of the best cops in Okonomiya PD, and he knows all about the underground activities within the region. He must have heard about my payment from somewhere. Still, that happened in a secret basement in the Sonozaki main house. I couldn't underestimate this guy's sources.
お見舞い、感謝感激です。じゃあ、もう行きますね。失礼します。
園崎しおんさん、私とコーヒーでも飲みに行きません？
Or you could fuck off, that works too.
はあ？何それ？私を口説いてんですか？
そういうことでもいいですよ。
No.
遠慮します。一日は有限。わざわざ退屈なことに費やすなんて馬鹿げてますから。
もう参ったな。じゃあこうしましょう。私とのおしゃべりが退屈になったらいつでも途中で帰っていいです。引き止めません？そういう約束でどうです？
あんたがしゃべるのは勝手ですが、私はしゃべりませんよ。それをおしゃべりと呼べるかは怪しいですが。
ねえ、それで結構です。シオンさんは聞き役で結構です。私が勝手に一方的にしゃべるだけ。あなたはコーヒーでも飲みながら中年親父の独り言を聞き流してくださればそれで結構です。
He was being strangely persistent. It didn't look like he was trying to poke a hole in my statement. What would he even talk about? I got a bit curious, even though I was still skeptical.
監督、すみません。私、ちょっと大石のおじさまとデートに行こうと思います。
ミオじゃない。シオンさん？
I winked at him, told him not to worry. Irie didn't insist. He got into his car and drove off. Oishi beckons his car up so I can get in. I hopped in the back seat, since I didn't want to sit next to him. Fair.
本当に喫茶店に行くの？
あなたの親類の目がない喫茶店があるなら紹介してもらえると助かるんですがね。
それなら勝手に連行でも何でもすればいい。
Oishi carefully checked for oncoming traffic and then started driving. Oishi took me to the police station, as I thought he might. If he had taken me to a nice cafe, he would have scored some points. But whatever.
署の方が都合がいいと思ったから署にしただけです。私の話が退屈になったら帰っていいという約束はもちろん守りますから安心してください。
私を退屈させないように頑張ってくださいな。署内には腕組んで入ってあげましょうか、おじさま。
Oishi chuckled and got out of the car as he escorted me into the station. I thought he had taken me into an interrogation room, but instead he took me to an office inside of the investigation division. The officers in both suits and uniforms were working at their desks answering phones. There was a desk with a plate that said Section Manager, and nearby there were couches and tables. Oh, and a table. Oishi told me to sit on the couch and started making some instant coffee. I've never been to this part of the police station, so I looked around in curiosity.
まさか取調室でカツ丼でも食わされると思いました？
Oishi brought over a tray of coffee with cups in it.
想像してたより海軍が良くて驚いてます。三角木馬くらいは覚悟してたのに。
そういうのは私の趣味じゃないな。
で、おしゃべりを聞かせてくれるんじゃなかったでしたっけ？
じゃあ最初からいきなり単刀直入に。シオンさんって北条聡さんのこと好き？
If I had my leap motion connected, you would have seen that I immediately just flipped off as soon as he asked the question. I raised my middle finger so fast when he said that.
はあ？速攻退屈なんで即帰りますよ。
じゃあ今のはなしということで。
Oishi must have known why I had to remove my fingernails. He wasn't trying to confirm that I liked Satoshi-kun. What he was really saying was that he knew already.
サトシ君の事件当日のアリバイなら、先日熊谷刑事さんに全部お話ししたつもりです。
もちろん、私も熊谷君の調書は読んでます。あなたがサトシ君と一緒にいたことは知ってます。
何度聞かれたって同じ話しかしませんよ、私。しつこく反復して聞いたら、そのうちにボロを出すとか考えてるなら、大甘もいいとこです。
まさかそんなこと考えてません。あなたは頭のいい人です。そんな手に引っかかるなんて思っちゃいません。
ならどういう手を考えてるやら。どちらにせよ、私からサトシ君のことを何か聞き出そうとしても、先日お話しした以上のことは何もありません。
I'm not even allowed to be near him. That's how bad it is.
ああ、残念。やっぱり退屈な話でしたね。私、帰らせてもらいます。そういう約束でしたからね。失礼します。
I got up from the couch.
シオンさん、確かに私はあなたからサトシさんのアリバイを聞こうと思っていました。それは認めますよ。
なら決まりです。やっぱり退屈でした。帰ります。
I turned around and started walking. Oishi didn't get anxious, but instead spoke a little louder.
でもね、シオンさん。私が聞きたいのはサトシさんの事件当日のアリバイじゃない。
What?
昨日のアリバイなんです。
Double what?
昨日？なんで昨日のアリバイなんかが聞かれるんですか？昨日のサトシ君のアリバイがおばさんが殺された事件とどう関係があるってんです？
昨日サトシ君が出かけたまま失踪されたからです。
What?
サトシ君が失踪されたことはご存知なかった？
No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. No, sir. I couldn't say anything, but my expression answered Oishi's question anyway.
どういうことですか？失踪って何？
やっぱり座ったらどうです？
サトシ君が失踪したって何？
一つ確実に分かっていることは、彼が3時前に沖宮の郵便局で貯金を全額下ろしているということだけです。その後の足取りはつかめません。
I knew why he withdrew the money. He wanted to buy Satsuko's birthday present. Yeah, he definitely bought that teddy bear yesterday.
これは私の想像ですよ。彼はひょっとしてそのお金でどっか遠くに蒸発したんじゃないかなって。
逃走資金だってんですか？バッカバカしい。あのお金はね、サトコの誕生日プレゼントを買うためにサトシ君が貯めていたんです。それであのおもちゃ屋にあったでかくて高いぬいぐるみを買ったんです。逃走に使うお金になんかなるわけないです。
確かにあのおもちゃ屋から一番高いぬいぐるみが売れていました。でもね、それをサトシ君が買った確証が取れないんです。
店の人に聞けばそんなのわかりますって。私とサトシ君で買う予約までしてるんですから。
I had a bad feeling that the old man who was watching the store was sleeping when we were there. He looked very senile. Maybe he was also watching that store on that day and Even though Satoshi-kun bought the teddy bear, he didn't remember. Oishi put on a weary smile. It looked as if he already tried to question said old man.
とにかくあれを買ったのはサトシくんなんです。サトシくんはぬいぐるみの金額ギリギリしかお金がなかったはずだから、ぬいぐるみ代を支払ってさらに逃亡資金を用意できたなんて思えません。めちゃめちゃもいいとこです。
いいですよ。じゃあサトシ君がぬいぐるみを買ったことでもいいです。じゃあそのぬいぐるみを持ってどうして帰らなかったんですか？
At that point, I felt as though my heart turned to ice. Satoshi-kun had been working hard to buy that teddy bear, even though he was under extreme mental and physical stress. And after all that, he finally manages to buy it. It's unthinkable that anyone else had just showed up and bought the same teddy bear. The teddy bear was gone because Satoshi-kun bought it. Nobody else. But if so, Satoshi-kun could have given it to Satoko. But though he bought the present for her, he didn't come home. He didn't come home? That wasn't possible. He would have gone straight home with that teddy bear. He wouldn't think of running away after buying the teddy bear. Even if Satoshi-kun wanted to run away from the police, he'd never leave without giving Satoko her present. Anyway, it must have been Satoshi-kun who bought the teddy bear. I can say that with 100% certainty. The question was, why didn't he bring it home? The teddy bear was huge. It wouldn't fit into a basket of a bicycle. He might have brought some straps to tie it to his bike. He wouldn't have thought of running away on a wobbly bike like that. He necessarily had to go home after buying the teddy bear from the store after withdrawing the money. Nothing could have happened when he was going between the ATM and the toy store. It was impossible. Nobody could have possibly bought that teddy bear. No one, never. That teddy bear had been sitting in the showcase up until that day. Everybody could see it when it passed by, but nobody wanted it. It's impossible that it could have been somebody else. There should be no question that he went to his toy store after he withdrew the money. What about the route between the toy store and his home? There wouldn't be any questions there either. He shouldn't have been able to do anything with that huge toy. He shouldn't have the thought of making a stop on the way. So he must have headed home, right after he bought the teddy bear. But nobody saw him after that. It was simple then. Satoshi-kun went missing on his way home from the toy store. He went missing? What did that mean? I was sure he killed his aunt. He wasn't that shrewd. Maybe he couldn't bear the pressure from the police? Was he resigned to the idea of the police that were going to arrest him soon regardless of my help? Did he decide to run away? Did he think that he should disappear until things cooled down rather than get arrested? That was definitely absolutely impossible. It was impossible that he come to the conclusion on his way home from the toy store. Even if he did, he would have waited until he gave Satoko her birthday present. Satoshi-kun believed Satoko. He shouldn't have spoiled her like that, but anyway, he always tried to be a good brother to her. So he'd never disappear right before going home. I felt as though there was ice cutting through my heart, expanding the frost. God, that's so bright, by the way. Jesus fucking Christ. If Satoshi-kun didn't disappear by his own will, the answer was simple. Satoshi-kun disappeared by someone else's will.
サトシ君が消された。バカバカしいです。やっぱり退屈な話ですよ、おじさま。
I thought I could shake off the frost in my heart as I laughed loudly enough. I kept laughing until it happened. I kept laughing and laughing. All the cops in the room stared at me. They thought I'd gone crazy. I didn't care what they thought. I kept laughing until it turned into a cough. I finished laughing and took a sip of lukewarm coffee. I felt as though the frost in my heart had spread all throughout my guts. I was chilled to the bone. I was freezing. My fingers shook as I held the coffee cup.
シオンさん。
What a beautiful situation.
ちょっと口を挟まずに聞いててほしいんです。これから私がちょいと想像した話を申し上げます。全部でっち上げです。だからきっとシオンさんはあまりのいい加減な内容に吹き出しちゃいそうになるかもしれません。それでも最後まで黙って聞いていてほしいんです。約束してもらえます？
いや、約束なんて何でもするから。早く言いなさいよ。
I was feeling far too cold. My teeth were chattering. I felt as though my brain was frozen as well. I lost my ability to think. I couldn't do anything by myself. I could only do what Oishi told me. What he was going to tell me might be the worst possible theory, but I had to listen to it.
死んだおばがサトシ君とサトコさんをいじめていたことはよーく聞いています。中でもサトコさんを執拗にいじめていたこともね。その中でサトシ君が妹をかばうためにおばに殺意を募らせていったとしても、私は人として自然な流れだと思います。
I had to deny that Soshi-kun murdered her, but what Oishi was saying was true. I couldn't deny his hypothesis right away, so I just kept silent.
ここからは空想ですよ。絶対に怒らないでください。口を挟むのもなし。いいですね。
わかってるから早く続けなさいよ。
北条聡はおば殺しを計画し実行した。ねえ、もちろん証拠なんてありませんよ。全部私の妄想です。
わかってるって。あんたの妄想なのは百も承知。だから早く続けて。
ここで話は変わります。シオンさん、あなたはサトシ君との交際を禁じられたんですよね。
Pretty much.
もう忘れろ。二度と関わるなと念を押されたんですよね。
Also true.
それは実は不仲な両家の関係を意味嫌ったからでなく、殺人犯と園崎家の令嬢が恋仲であることに問題があったんじゃないかと思ったんです。
That is actually possible. After all, when I was pretending to be Mion, I already had a connection with Satoshi-kun. Before anyone knew it was Shion who was spending the time around him, I could have been accused when I was helping out the Hinamizawa fighters if the relationship between the Hojos and Sonozakis was the problem. It wouldn't be difficult for the Sonozaki family to know that Satoshi-kun murdered his aunt, if it happened within Hinamizawa. Maybe one of them even saw the murder. The Sonozaki family didn't like the fact that I was in love with a murderer, so they decided to step in.
あと、あなた諦めが悪いことでも知られてるんじゃないですか。つまり園崎本家にサトシ君との縁を切れと脅されて、サトシ君との縁を切りかねていましたよね。
Couldn't deny that. I lost most of my means to access Hinamizawa, so my ties with Satoshi-kun are essentially cut true. But I still knew Satoshi-kun's phone number, and I expected him to rejoin the Hinamizawa fighters eventually.
園崎本家はサトシ君とあなたの縁はちょっと脅しただけじゃ絶対に切れないと分かっていたと思います。あなたをいくら脅してもどうにもならない。
Yeah, that's probably true. I will do the exact opposite of denying that, because what's there to deny? Am I right? Did I really open that up? And then there's...
じゃあもう一人の方をどうにかするしかないですよね。
どうにかって何？
Uh-oh.
どうにかって何よ？何？
If threatening me was useless then, they'd do something about Satoshi-kun. What would they have done? If they pulled something, then wouldn't that interrupt his path from the toy store to home? Toy store to home. Toy store to X to home. What's X? What is X? X marks the spot where his path was interrupted. But what interrupted it? Why couldn't Satoshi make it home from the toy store if something interrupted him? Why? What's X? I ran out of air and became dizzy and then collapsed. The floor felt cold. I felt no pain. I had fallen to the floor like a plastic doll. Oshi and the others rushed up to me to help me up.
落ち着いてシオンさん。サトシ君が殺されたとはまだ限りません。
You're certain that he was... You're not certain he was killed? What the fuck are you talking about? You don't know about the torture room where they've... Don't you know about the torture room where they forced me to rip off my own damn nails? Don't you know that they have... What they have there is prison cells that is well for disposing of corpses in the back? If the Sonozaki family wants to eliminate somebody, they definitely kill them in the torture room and dump their body down there. And you're not certain? Are you dumb? Is your brain made of tofu? If I were in the hag's position, I'd kill him for sure. I wouldn't let him get away. If I would kill him, then the hag would definitely kill him.
シオンさん、落ち着いて。
No, that takes effort. I'm sorry.
これはまだ未確認情報ですが、名古屋駅で家出人風の若者を見たという情報が入っています。東京行きの新幹線に乗ったそうです。服装の特徴などが一致しませんでしたが、警察の追跡等を意識して衣替えをしている可能性もあります。服装が違うからサトシ君でないとは言い切れませんよ。
生きてるの？サトシ君生きてる？
ここからもまた私の想像になりますがね。
Oh my fucking god.
あなたの双子のお姉さんのミヨンさん、次期当主ということで園崎お涼の身近にいますよね。園崎お涼はおそらく最初はサトシ君をこっそり殺してしまおうと提案したと思います。それをあなたのお姉さんが止めたんじゃないかと思うんです。
Mion? That was possible. She could have tried to calm things down out of pity for me. That idiot was always so indecisive. She should have been clear on if she wanted to save him or not. But she probably seemed vague about it. She must have pursued the hag to reduce the punishment and banishment instead of death, and just avoided feeling guilty.
おそらく園崎本家はサトシ君と接触したでしょう。今回の事件はかばいきれない。だから自分の身は自分で守るためにどこかへ姿を隠せと忠告したはずです。いや、強要したと言った方が似合うでしょうね。
サトシ君は絶対拒否すると思います。だってあのサトシ君が妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられるわけがない。
私もそう思います。確かサトシ君は園崎美音さんの紹介でバイトをしてましたよね。だからサトシ君に逃走資金になるまとまったお金があることを知っていたと思います。
でもサトシ君はそのお金をぬいぐるみを買う以外には絶対に使わないはずです。
でしょうね。サトシ君は貯金を下ろしたら迷うことなくおもちゃ屋に向かうでしょう。でももしですよ、サトシ君がおもちゃ屋にたどり着くともうぬいぐるみが売れてしまっていてなくなっていたら。
Great. That would have been a very desolate situation. He's been working hard while Xant abused him, and he worked so many different jobs. The money was worth all of that pain. He went to his toy store with the money in order to buy his beloved sister a present. That was the only purpose for that money. He must have looked for the teddy bear as he always done, but then it was gone. He wouldn't have gone into a panic right away. Because he was always so optimistic. He might have thought that the store was wrapping the gift for him because they told him that he could pick it up that day. He must have gone into the store joyously. I couldn't guess what exactly would have happened next. My heart would tear up if I tried to imagine it anyway. Why didn't they have it? Even though he had it reserved? Did that old man understand the situation, or was he just zoning out? Maybe it would have been the same if it wasn't for the old man who was in the store at that time. If a bunch of fierce-looking subordinates from the Sonozaki family went in and showed them the money, nobody would have rejected it. Satoshi-kun must have sunk into silence. No matter how hard he complained, the teddy bear was gone. He probably never even considered that it was his dream that might have been taken away. He must have been wobbling his way home in sorrow, leaning on a telephone poles every now and then. It was the day that he wanted Satsuko to be happy the most. He couldn't get the present that she wanted most. He probably couldn't think of any other gift, because it was unimaginable that he couldn't get the teddy bear. He might have imagined how Satsuko would react if she found out that he had no present for her. He must have looked unbelievably sad and even empty. The money he'd been saving meant nothing anymore. Satoshi-kun never cried, even through his toughest moments. Did he even know how to cry? It was always Satsuko who was crying, so Satoshi-kun never learned how to cry, and he grew up that way. Did you know? People shed sadness from their hearts with their tears. Satoshi-kun wasn't allowed to do that. Even though his heart was filled with such sorrow, he couldn't let it out.
妹を一人残してひなみ沢を離れられないと言いましたね。でももしも園崎本家が残った聡子さんの面倒は見るって言ってあったとしたらどう思います？
After Satoshi-kun found out the teddy bear was gone, all he had left was some crumpled bills. The family told him that it was just a matter of time before the police got to him and told him to run away. They said that they'd take care of Satsuko. Satoshi-kun didn't feel like seeing his sister. He wandered and found himself in Okonomiya Station. He must have been apologizing to Satsuko so many times in his mind. He swore to come back someday. He headed to Nagoya? I forgot how to say that. And then to Tokyo. But that meant he was alive. He's alive. I should be able to see him again someday. He must be coming back, so I'll definitely see him again.
そうしてずっと遠方に隠れ家か受け入れ先を用意してくれたんじゃないかと思います。サトシ君はそこを目指したのでしょう。
じゃあ無事なんだ。いつか帰ってくるんですよね。
Oishi looked up the ceiling and stretched. He didn't answer me. June 24th, 1982. Satoshi Hojo went missing. There's a possibility that he ran away, as he was the prime suspect for the murder that happened on the 20th of the same month. Allegedly, someone resembling him was seen on the Nagoya station, embarking on a train heading towards Tokyo, but that truth is unknown. No one has seen him since. As a matter of fact, no one even knows if he's still alive. No, fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you. And then we got 2 notebook pages. Oh, that's fucked up, bro. That's fucked up, bro. Okay, well, let's read the new tips, I suppose. Page 32. The information that Satoshi-kun might have headed for Tokyo hadn't been verified. It started as follows. A young man came to a lost-found window looking for his wallet. The station employee asked him to write down his name onto the form. Hello, Ace. How are you doing? It turns out that the chat box is still broken. Ah, shit. That is an unfortunate situation. Yep. Okay. The chat box is still broken. God damn it. But how are you doing, Ace? I hope you're doing well. For context, the chat box has been kind of broken. It doesn't really want to function anymore. So, yeah. Just got done with the exam, so I want to tell you. A lot of shit went down, to say the least. And a young man started writing Hojo as his name, but he stepped into the middle, crumpled the form, and wrote an entirely different name onto another form. Another station employee witnessed a similar-looking young man rushing into the train into Tokyo. The employee from the Lost and Found and the employee who was on the platform talked to the suspicious-looking man in the locker room. Yeah, so long story short, to catch you up to speed, Satoshi killed his aunt and was originally looking all happy and stuff and was going to buy the teddy bear for Satoko. But before all that, the police tried to question him, and Shion revealed that she's not actually Mion. It was just Shion pretending to be Mion. So then she got taken into the torture room from Chapter 2. And let's just say she has 3 less fingernails for her name. And now Satoshi supposedly had ran away, which we have heard about in previous chapters, but now we're kind of learning a little more of how it would have happened. So that's kind of the long story short of what went down, and it's something. That was all. The wallet of the man named Hojo was never reported as found to the Lost and Found office. Okay, and then we got 42. At first I thought Oishi's theory that the Sonozaki family vanished Satoshi-kun from Hinamizawa and looked after Satoko in return. The fuck, this is crazy. And I thought you meant for yourself, not the game. Hey man, it could be both. It could be both. Did I? What the fuck? I was hitting enter and it didn't want me to continue. What the shit? It was bogus. But thinking about it now, it doesn't seem too far-fetched. After all, Satoko Hojo started living with Rika Furude after Satoshi-kun's disappearance. Rika Furude isn't just a regular girl. She was the head of the Furude family, one of the 3 families. The head of the Kimiyoshi family is Rika Furude's guardian. The Sonozaki family probably couldn't step in due to having been officially opposed to the Hojo family. But Satoko Hojo was in custody of the 3 families now. Even though the Hojo family was severely, that's a word, during the damn conflict, Satoko Hojo was now under protection. It seemed as though only Satoko was exempted from blame. Why was she spared even though Satoshi-kun wasn't? And it's some bullshit! It's some bullshit! Some bullshit! Some bull fucking shit. And we're now on Chapter 8. We just finished Chapter 7. Oh my fucking god, this is just... Man... Can I do one more chapter? Should I do one more chapter? These are getting, like, rather long. But I'm kind of getting hooked. I don't know. I'm kind of getting hooked to it. Son of a bitch. Fuck it. We'll do one more chapter. Flip a coin. Head, continue. Oh, well, I hit continue.
え今、なんて
信頼できる筋の噂ですが、サトシ君のおば殺しの犯人が見つかったらしいです。
It had been a few weeks since the murder. Satoshi-kun still hadn't been found. It was heads then. Yeah, my dog is barking. I swear to God. I have no new information upon his whereabouts. Kasai's report came as a result and completely out of the blue, too.
それって警察が逮捕したって意味？
聞いた話では、逮捕というより別件で取り調べを受けていた男が余罪として自供したんだとか。
That sounded strange. If it was Satoshi-kun they arrested, he wouldn't have worded it that way. It sounded as though Satoshi-kun wasn't the culprit. Okay, I'm confused now.
葛西、結局犯人って誰だったの？
So it wasn't Satoshi-kun? I swallowed those final words. I was convinced that it was Satoshi-kun. Yeah, even I was. It would make sense, right? The police in Oishi must have thought the same way. The reason Oishi approached me is because he was convinced that Satoshi-kun did it. And there was pretty good reason to think that, to be fair.
ご安心を。サトシ君ではないようですよ。
Okay.
連続開始事件を模倣した異常者の犯行というような話みたいです。
The fuck?
はい？異常者？何それ？
Kasai shrugged.
さあ、私もそれ以上は。何しろ今回の事件は秘匿捜査指定というものがかかっているんだそうです。なのでほとんど情報が出回らないんです。
秘匿捜査？何それ？
連続開始事件による村への風評被害対策ということらしいです。
Well, about that, there's already quite a bit of bad rap up in this bitch.
誘拐事件なんかでも犯人との交渉が行われている間は新聞に載らなかったりするでしょ。ああいう類のものらしいです。
Come to think of it, I hadn't seen anything about his aunt's murder on TV or in the newspaper.
何しろ4年連続で綿流しの日に事件が起こっているわけですからね。お社様のたたりだと騒いで面白がる輩も多いそうですし。そうそう、何でもそのおば殺しの異常者ですが、連続開始事件を模倣したくて行ったと自供したんだとか。
Kasai didn't know anything else, so instead of probing him further, I reviewed the information for myself. I was really shocked to learn all this. I was convinced that Satoshi-kun was the killer. I thought that there was a reason that he had to disappear. But it was actually some lunatic who killed her? And he had no relation to the aunt whatsoever? So Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with the murder. But if so, why did he disappear? I couldn't accept that this lunatic had killed the aunt. And what's really strange is the phrase that Kasai used, 4 years in a row now. After all, I had been thinking that this murder happened because Satoshi-kun had been in a dire situation, had nothing to do with this mysterious string of deaths. It felt as though Satoshi-kun's case had become someone else's. The series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa is also known as the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. Satoshi-kun's case had become one of those mysterious deaths. In other words, Satoshi-kun's case could be a part of Oyashiro-sama's curse. I didn't like how that sounded. Because of this, the curse had swallowed Satoshi-kun.
残念ながら例の東京行きの新幹線に乗ったらしいという情報も確認が取れないままです。正直なところ県の中にいるのか外にいるのかそれすらも分かっちゃいません。
Oishi broke the seal of a new can of instant coffee.
あれだけ胸を張ってサトシ君が犯人だと息巻いていたからもう行方をつかんでるとばかり思ってました。
いやいや情けない限りです。
Oishi chuckled and poured a cup of coffee, which looked far too hot.
しかし耳が早いな。
はい。
一口操作してだってのに、どこの誰が漏らしてるやら。やれやれ。うちの傍聴も問題があるな。
Oishi smirked. He seemed he knew why I was here today.
まあ、腐っても園崎の端くれですので、多少の噂は耳にできますということで。
I smirked back at him. It was all about bluffing.
まあいいか。腹を割り合った仲ですしね。いいですよ。おしゃべりしましょう。
まず聞かせてください。真犯人って一体何者です？異常者とか聞きましたけど、それってどういうことですか？
I want an answer, Oishi.
どういうことって言われたってね。
Well, you better find a way to answer that because I'm a thing called impatient.
そりゃ私だって言いたいですよ。私はサトシ君が犯人の一点読みでしたからね。
I think a lot of us were.
とんだ万馬券が飛び出したもんです。
Oishi threw himself on the sofa and crossed his hands behind his head. He looked up at the ceiling and smiled.
先日ですね、
Gotta go have a good stream.
県警の
Alright,
方
you
から
take
急
care,
に
Ace.
連絡が来たんですよ。すでに逮捕して取り調べをしている男が主婦殺しを自供したって。
I don't think housewife is how I describe the aunt, but go on.
それは何者？
薬に手を出したとんでもない野郎でしてね。出所しては捕まるの繰り返しだそうです。ひなみ沢村連続開始事件が面白そうだったんで、4年目のたたりは自分が下してみたくなったと。
間違いなくそいつが犯人？
私が直接話を聞いたわけじゃないんですがね。先方が取った供述調書には、いわゆる犯人しか知り得ない情報ってやつががっつりと含まれていたんですよ。凶器を王子川のどこかで捨てたって言ってましてね。今はドブさらいの最中ですよ。これで供述通りに凶器が発見されれば完璧でしょうな。
たとえ凶器が見つからなくても、おおむね確定？
確定でしょうな。現場の状況と仏の状況を正確に供述しています。襲った本人にしかわからないような細かいあたりまでね。
納得は言ってないみたいですね。
Oishi's still looking at the ceiling and went quiet.
実はね、とっくに亡くなってるんですよ。うちに連絡があった時にはすでに。
亡くなってる？
給食とかに出てくるでしょ、先割れスプーン。留置場の食事にもあれが出てくるんですよ。そいつを飲み込んで窒息したんだとか。
Okay.
自殺なのか錯乱なのか、ちょっと区別がつかないですがね。
I imagine someone swallowing a spoon and then gas.
だから十分に納得するまで調べられたわけじゃありません。私は納得できないんですがね。どうもその愉快犯が主婦殺しの犯人ってことで決着しそうな流れです。
Oishi turned his eyes from the ceiling to me. He looked serious.
これは個人的な意見ですよ。他の誰にも内緒ということで。私はこの大バカたりは何かの間違いだと思ってます。何かの偶然による壮大な勘違いか、もしくはねえ。
全然意味わかんないですよ、大石のおじさま。
私は今でも犯人は北条聡君だと思っています。
I mean, I still kind of believe it too, to be fair.
きっぱり言い切りますね。
残念ながら現場検証では犯人を特定できるような痕跡は何一つ発見できませんでした。聡君が失踪した後、家宅捜索の許可が下りましてね。家を改めさせてももらいましたが、それでも手がかりはゼロ。
それでもサトシ君が犯人だと疑ってる。
ねえ。
証拠もないのにどうやったらそこまで人を殺人犯呼ばわりできるのやら。大したもんです。長年の勘ってやつですか。
ええ、この道で何十年も飯を食ってきた男の直感です。
Oishi smiled in satisfaction, but I didn't feel relieved.
サトシ君はどこへ？
サトシ君が失踪した理由の一つこそが彼が犯人であるからだと固く信じていたんです。サトシ君が犯人でないならそのあたりがかなり薄れちゃいますからね。
おば殺しの犯人はその愉快犯で、サトシ君の失踪とは無関係。
I don't know.
サトシ君失踪は私とサトシ君の仲を裂くために園崎本家がやったもの。おば殺しとは無関係という考え方は？
Was Satoshi-kun a culprit or a victim? The reason for his disappearance had become unclear.
私は旧敵との恋仲程度で人一人を失踪させるなんてリスクを冒すとは思わないんですがね。実際園崎家の内部としてはどうなんです？シオンさんはそのあたり何かご存知？
知っていたらこんなとこに来ません。
ごもっともごもっとも。
Oishi laughed out loud while scratching his head. And after he stopped laughing, he leaned over.
よーし。なら一つどうですかね。協定を結びませんか。紳士協定。
協定？何のです？
サトシ君失踪事件捜査情報共有協定。裏の界隈でサトシ君の失踪に関する情報を得られたら私にも教えてください。もちろん私もサトシ君についての情報が入ったらあなたに提供します。いかがです？
なんだか一方的な虫のいい話に思えますけど。
Oishi chuckled.
シオンさん、このまま行くと主婦殺しの犯人はすでに死んでるその大バカタレってことで確定すると思います。そうなるとサトシ君の扱いは単なる家出人になります。つまり積極的な捜査は打ち切られるということです。ですが私だけは続けます。私だけはサトシ君の行方を引き続き探します。シオンさんも私もサトシ君の行方を探しているという点では一致してると思うんですがね。
目的が全然違いますがね。私は単に無事を確認したいだけですが、大石のおじさまにとっては逮捕が目的でしょうから。
主婦殺しが決着すればサトシ君は無実ってことになりますよ。真実はどうかは別にしてもね。
怪しいもんです。
Oishi chuckled again, but his smile didn't reach his eyes.
まあ今後も仲良くやりましょう。敵の敵は味方とも言いますしね。
別に私園崎本家と敵対しているわけじゃありませんよ。
なあ本当に？ならそりゃ失礼。
Is this the way of Oishi? As Sisson Kasai said, I wouldn't want him as my enemy or my ally, because both would be way too risky. I probably shouldn't let my guard down in front of this fat weasel. I sipped on the coffee and filled up the silence, even though I wasn't even thirsty. Outside the window, I could see normal life taking its course, but Satoshi-kun wasn't there. He should have been there, but he wasn't. I was scared that I might grow used to his absence someday. Where was he?
サトシ君はどうしてるんだろう。
無事だといいんですがね。
チェ、生きてる可能性は薄いとか思っているくせに。 気休め言わないでほしいです。
サトシ君の失踪、ひなみ沢じゃなんて言われてるか知ってます？
え？
鬼隠しにあったなんて言われてるんだ。
There we go. To be demoned away means the same thing as being spirited away. It's a part of a local dialect.
鬼が淵の間の底の鬼の国にさらわれたって？バカバカしい。
とにもかくにも連続開始事件もこれで4年目です。気の早い話ですがね、来年もまた起こるんじゃないかなんてもうささやかれてるんだとか。
大場殺しがお社様のたたりのせいだって言うんですか？
全体的に見てみれば仏も北条家の一人。ダム戦争の戦犯と縁がないわけじゃないですからね。しかもまたしても綿流しの日にとなれば面白がる連中が現れるのも無理もないことです。
バカバカしい。何がお社様のたたりだ。
Though I said that, I can't quite wipe away the fear from my mind. Why did Satoshi-kun disappear? Was it the Sonozaki family? Did he run away from the police? Did he really kill his aunt in the first place? Why did he even disappear? He's on his own. Oyashiro-sama's curse has nothing to do with it. But... That's strange. Satoshi-kun and Oyashiro-sama's curse. Somebody once mentioned those two together before. When did I hear that? With Rena. Ah, that's right. That rainy day. It was Rena Ryugu who told me that when we were taking shelter in that shack. I remember the creepy story that she had told me.
Satoshi-kun は心のどこかでひなみ沢を捨ててどこかへ逃げ出したいと思ってるから。
That's what Rena Ryugu said. Rena had definitely pointed out that Satoshi-kun wanted to leave Hinamizawa at any time. She also said,
サトシ君が体験していることはすべてお社様のたたりの前触れなの。
She said that, for sure. She had definitely mentioned Oyashiro-sama's curse. The series of mysterious deaths had struck 4 times. Was Satoshi-kun being controlled by a curse? Is that why he killed his aunt and was quote-unquote demoned away? No way. It couldn't be true. Satoshi-kun's smile faded away in my mind. Satoshi-kun disappeared. Not only that, the reason for his disappearance also disappeared. It must have been done by human beings, and I can't accept that he was demoned away. Notebook page 43. Where are we going? I moved from one chair to another because the air conditioning was too cold. I moved with my notebook, my pen case, and a bunch of keychains, and my cup of milk tea. I did it all in one go. Sat down in a new chair and opened up my notebook again and scribbled my thoughts and sank into silence. The series of mysterious deaths, dubbed the Curse of Oyashiro-sama. I've been viewing each incident as a separate case, even though that it was followed by another one. I've never looked at all the cases as part of one big scheme. After I wrote down all the incidents on paper, it became clear to me that all of them served the same agenda. I wrote down the victims. The first year was the construction site manager. The second year, Satoshi-kun's parents. Third year was the priest. And the fourth year was Satoshi-kun's aunt. For the fourth year, one could consider Satoshi-kun himself to be the victim, rather than his aunt. If I considered that each case arose from a grudge over the dam conflict, then it's quite simple. In the first year, the construction manager was killed because he was a symbol of the dam construction himself. Of course, the real enemy was the Ministry of Construction, but it wasn't clear of a target. That manager, on the other hand, had been aggressively shouting back at the villagers, so he was a more appropriate enemy to attack. If Orishiro-sama really had cursed someone, it would have been the officials from the ministry. It's apparent that the target was selected based on the villagers' preference. The second year, the accidental death of Satoshi-kun's parents. 8 said that they fell from a cliff in some park, but it's doubtful that it was really an accident. His parents were labeled as traitors to the village, and they all sided with the dam construction. Oh, because they sided with the dam construction. Even though that they were also from Hinamizawa. The Hojo family was... Anyways, during the dam conflict, in order to prevent further pro-dam activists from rising up. That means the Hojos were necessary during the conflict to play a role as a traitor. So when the conflict was over, they no longer served any purpose. The construction site manager was a symbol of the external enemy. The Hojos were a symbol of the eternal enemy. The people fell victim to the curse, and it seemed that the grudge over the dam conflict had ended. And yet the incidents were followed, one after another. The third year, the leader of one of the three families, Priest Furude, suddenly died of an illness with an unknown cause. His wife drowned herself on the same night. She seemed to have left a note that said she was sacrificing herself to pacify Orishiro-sama's anger. Whether it was a fatal disease or suicide, their deaths looked suspicious. Mion admitted that the Sonozaki family didn't like the priest's attitudes. They didn't like how the priest has been generous towards the pro-dam activists. The priest wasn't quite a traitor, but he was certainly uncooperative. Looking at these incidents, I realized that the curse was performed based on a degree of hostility. Enemy, traitor, and dissent? This meant that the curse was actually payment, and was a punishment for the criminals of war. In the fourth year, I didn't come to this case before, but, well, shit. Wait. Do I have, like... How do you open the mod menu again? I forget. Open on YouTube. The fuck? Wait, how do... Wait, wasn't there a mod shortcut thing? I was thinking about it because I keep hearing these OSTs and I haven't been hearing the previous OSTs, and I'm like sitting back curious if it was like, you know, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy. How do I... Oh no, that how do I... There we go, I guess. I didn't understand this case at first, to be honest. At first I believed this was a case that was separate from the other ones, even though it occurred on the same day. I never thought that there would actually be any relation to the other three. But when I wrote it down and looked at it objectively, the victim was a relative of the traitor. The enemy traitor and that one, relative of the traitor, it doesn't sound too odd. It comes naturally as the fourth target. On the day the villagers worship Orishiro-sama, the guardian deity, the criminals of the dam conflict have been punished by the curse. It was like how I was forced to pay at the Sonozaki house. The criminals were made to pay as well. After writing those things out, I started thinking about the fourth incident might be in line with a series of mysterious deaths after all. Whether it was Satoshi-kun or that dopehead, it seemed like they were forced to play role of the murder as a part of a bigger scenario. Even if Satoshi-kun was the real culprit and even killed his own aunt because of the ordinary grudge, the murders seem synchronized with the grand scheme of the series of mysterious deaths of Hinamizawa, which is payment planned for the war criminals. That murder was the result of his plan. But what if somebody planned that as a part of this scenario? For instance, somebody might have suggested him to kill his aunt one day that night at that place. I had some doubts that Satoshi-kun might decide to kill her in order to protect Satoko, but did he really reach that conclusion all on his own? Satoshi-kun was optimistic and somewhat detached. As far as I know, he would really have to would he really have considered murdering his aunt, even if it was to protect his sister? I mean, maybe. Couldn't it be possible for someone to have chosen his aunt for the 4th year murder beforehand? And they used Satoshi-kun? And Satoshi-kun was eliminated because of his connection with them? Looking at it that way, the murder of the 1st year resembles this case. The main culprit behind the case hasn't been found yet, dead or alive. The other culprits testify that their fight had turned into a slaughter. But it wouldn't be possible that the main culprit had manipulated the situation. Wait, wouldn't it have been? What the fuck? What if he had been told to kill someone that day, at that time, and in that place? I'm certain. The first murder resembles Satoshi-kun's case very much. So did that mean that Satoshi-kun was being controlled by someone else? Oishi had presented me with the hypothesis that the Sonozaki family made Satoshi-kun disappear in order to make my relationship with the murderer end. But when I read the notes I wrote down, his disappearance doesn't seem too spontaneous. It seemed like a part of a bigger plan. Since I unexpectedly got involved in that plan, I had to be separated from him. When Satoshi-kun was demon away as planned, at first, I also believed that the Sonozaki family made him disappear because they didn't like that I was in love with a member of a family of traitors. But something didn't add up. Something felt strange. It wasn't the reason for his disappearance at all. Even if I had never met him in the first place, Satoshi-kun was supposed to kill his aunt in June 1982, and then disappear. At one point I'd been thinking on taking revenge on the hag. I believe that she separated us. But what if my relationship with Satoshi-kun had nothing to do with his disappearance? What would that mean? Who made Satoshi-kun disappear? I needed to understand the mysterious deaths that in order to solve this mystery. What do all these deaths mean? Who is behind them, and what purpose did they serve? I wanted to know the purpose, the motive, and who was responsible. Who took Satoshi-kun? I wanted to know if he was still alive. A series of mysterious deaths in Hinamizawa was also called Oyashiro-sama's curse. What is that curse? Specifically, what kind of god is Oyashiro-sama? What blessings does he bring, and what punishments does he deal out? I wrote down my thoughts into my notebook. What's Oyashiro-sama? What is he? I scribbled these things down. I was also absorbed by it. I once didn't realize that someone had been standing behind me, watching me the whole time. I couldn't stop myself but gasping when I realized that. It's you. I forgot your name, but I remember you. The intelligent-looking woman giggled. What was her name again? She hanged out with Tomitsuke.
いえ、びっくりしただけです。こちらこそ場違いな大声を出してすみませんでした。
She could have apologized a little better too, since she's been watching me from behind. But she just stared at my face and said,
あなたが園崎しおんさん？
私の名前を知ってて、私が初対面ということは、お姉の知り合いか何かですか？
Being twins is a pain sometimes. People you've never met before can tell exactly who you are.
ごめんなさいね。私の知っている園崎さんは図書館なんかに来るような人じゃないから。噂に聞いた双子のしおんさんかなと思って。
お察しの通り、私は園崎しおんです。どうもはじめまして。失礼ですがどちら様ですか？
あら、ごめんなさいね。自己紹介がまだだったわね。
She seemed to love her own hair because she kept on running her fingers through it.
高野美代。
Oh, Takano, that's right. Mio Takano. How did I forget that name, bro? I'm crazy.
美代って呼んでくれていいわよ。しおんちゃん。
Sure.
お気遣いありがとうございます、高野さん。
Her condescending attitude bugged me. I hate meeting people like that. I closed my notebook and got ready to leave to the desk.
あら、怒ってる？
ご検察、痛み入ります。私は一人で考え事をするのが好きなんで、 よそへ行かせていただきます。失礼します。ごきげんよう。
残念ね。私たち話が合うと思ったのに。
You're an adult.
そうですか？私は合うとは思いかねますが。
だってお社様のたたりについて研究する同志に出会えたんですもの。
And I'm starting to see why I wanted to forget you.
貴重な出会いだと思うんだけど。
She saw my notes. My face reddened.
これは私の、そう、妄想みたいなもの。でたらめです。子供の落書きなんかほっといてください。
お社様のたたりと呼ばれる一連の連続開始事件。
I'm starting to wonder if this is actually the OST I'm used to. Oh, it was F10. I'm an idiot. Yeah, wait. What happens if it's the same fucking... Oh. What the fuck? I'm so confused. Whatever.
いずれの事件も個別に見えながら確実に一つの意思に基づいて行われている。毎年一人がお社様のたたりにあって死に、
何を急に言い出すんですか？一人がたたりで死んで、一人が何ですって？
I was taken aback by her weird spiel, but I realized right away that she said something extraordinary.
南沢村連続開始事件の犠牲者が常に偶数人数だってことはあなたも気づいてたんじゃない？それともまだそこまでには至ってなかったかしら？
The number of victims is always even. I was confused, but I tried to figure out what that meant. The damn construction site manager died on the first year, but that was only one victim. In the second year, the victims were the parents of Satoshi, so that's two. Third year was the priest, and if her death was also planned, his wife, two again. And this year, it was Satoshi-kun's aunt that died, and Satoshi-kun went missing. If Satoshi-kun's disappearance was planned, then the number of victims was two. That's true, except for the first one. The victims always came in even numbered two. Wait. I had just concluded myself that the first case resembled the first one. The main culprit is still missing. He might have been demoned away, just like Satoshi-kun. Fun, fun, fun.
ね、そうでしょ？
Takano-san sounded like a teacher who had showed me how to solve a difficult math problem. I wasn't quite convinced, but I couldn't deny what she said either.
ヒントはこのくらいでいいかしら？二人で存分に語り明かしたかったんだけど、あなたが孤独を好むなら仕方がないしね。
失礼な口の利き方をしてすみませんでした、ミオさん。私のことはシオンと呼んでください。
She seemed content with that I changed my attitude. She kept giggling for a while. She didn't seem all that reliable. I didn't want to be acquainted with her for too long, but I don't get to talk to people very much. What she said interests me.
改めて自己紹介するわね。高野美代よ。美代って呼んでくれると嬉しいわ。
よろしくです、ミ代さん。私は園崎シオン。ミオンの双子の妹にあたります。シオンと呼んでください。
I took the hand that Mio held on the side of...
さっきの話を聞かせてください。二人犠牲者が出ると言いましたね。一人がたたりで、もう一人が生贄とか言いましたか？
ねえ、シオンちゃん。このお話で盛り上がる前に、どうしてこの話に興味があるか聞かせてもらってもいいかしら。
Reasons is none of your business. She leaned over and looked into my eyes. It was kind of uncomfortable.
ミオさんこそ私のことをどこまでご存知です？ご存知ならおおよその見当はつくんじゃないかと。
さあ、 何年か遠くの全寮制の学校にいて、最近沖宮に戻ってきたとしか知らないわよ。
そうですか。じゃあ想像つきますよね。私がいない間に起こった連続開始事件。私はよくわからないので調べてるんです。ちょっとした興味本位で。
なるほどね。興味本位でね。
I got the impression that she knew about what happened with Satoshi and me. Well, we can learn about that later. We can learn about that later. This is going on a little longer than I thought it was. So we're just gonna go ahead and just end it right here. Are you sure? I'm very sure. Thank you for asking. It sucks that the chat box fucking died like a bit halfway through. It's so dumb. That really shouldn't have happened. There was nothing to instigate it happening. But I guess it did anyway because fucking, I don't know why. Let me look back at the notification I got. Let's see. The live chat and number of viewers cannot be collected due to a server connection error. Well, that's not fucking fair. Please check the platform's website, which was still up, by the way. Hell, I was still receiving chats and shit. So it's clearly not a problem with Twitch, because that just wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. It just wouldn't, you know? For all I know, Prism's just probably got some kinks to it that are just in the need of working out, so maybe that's its own thing. I don't know. Kind of crazy, honestly. Let's see if we can try to... Is that, like, perfectly aligned? I don't know. We're about to see. Is that perfect? No, it's not. Shit. I'm, like, trying to... Fucking... Dude. What the fuck, bro? Bro. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't want to work. I tried to like move it up a bit to like, whatever. Such a small amount of pixels. It doesn't really necessarily matter. Oh, wow. Yeah, it's not keeping track of the viewer count. That's kind of interesting. But anyways, all right. I'm going to go ahead and end the stream. The next stream that I'll do, I need to think about that. What'll be the next stream that I do? I do got options, but I just don't know what I want to do. I could do more Terraria, but I don't want to just spam only Terraria and Higurashi. I gotta bring in something new every now and then. Maybe I'll play more Pac-Man World Repack. I need to get back to that. Maybe I'll just suck it up with my controller and just fucking do it anyway. I don't know. Oh, that's right. I need to get prepped for the new Lucilius fight for Relink. Haven't played Relink in a bit, to be honest. I've been kind of taking a break because I don't want to burn myself out of it. But that'll be a lot of fun, for sure. Okay. Well, anyways, thanks to those who did stop by the stream and whatnot. And I'll see y'all whenever I see y'all.